is it you pray for?
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 43rd episode of Abyssal Musings. Sorry about the delay, folks. Nomi was trying to blow herself up.
Yeah, this is true.
Way to put a stop to that shit. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and with me are my co-host Lawrence Knight.
What's up?
And Nomi without you.
Hi, I'm Nomi the baker that almost blew up my house.
You almost were Nomi the Baked.
Yeah, well, I could, yeah. Well, I could be baked, but that's a different type of baked. But yeah, I forgot to turn off the oven while baking cookies.
Yeah, it was a near disaster, but
yeah, and she's in the back yelling at someone, and I'm over here singing.
Yeah, I was just like, did you not get my text message about the cookies? Because I got the other batch out, but the other ones didn't make it out. But the other ones that were forgotten, they were saved, and yeah, Shadow, that's what I'm implying. But yeah, and then I also forgot to turn off the oven. So yeah.
Speaking of Shadow and plants, I got something from Kohai this morning. I figured I might as well get it out of the way because he's been dreading this.
I'm just too freaking tired to fight it. Might as well just go along.
Sorry, kid.
No, that's totally getting played again. Actually, play it again, Samuel. Play it again.
Is Larry okay?
I'm just too freaking tired to fight it. Might as well just go along.
Yeah, JV, I almost sent that to Ryan before his show today, but I'm like, no, I want to debut that on mine.
I actually got tears in my eyes.
Kohai says, "Don't die, Larry." Oh man, that was a good laugh.
Thank you, Kohai.
Little bit more housekeeping, just the tiniest smidgen of it. If you guys are in the YouTube chat, make sure that you've got it on live chat and not top chat, because for some reason it doesn't like Suka.
Yeah.
And I say this with love, buddy, but you picked a Russian swear word for your name. He's gone full. Yeah, but you were laughing at it too.
Yeah,
it's funny, kid. Just for lack of a better phrase, lean into it.
That damn Kohai.
Dude, drink some water.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest I've ever heard Larry laugh. But that was pretty funny. Like, this is top tier Kohai.
Yeah, she's got a GIF version with no audio too. I think the audio really makes it though. It does. That was, I believe, clipped from this week's Game of Thrones stream on Ryan's channel.
Yes, it was.
Because I do remember something about Kohai being in the chat saying, "I'm going to, take that and use it."
I think it was Ryan that said, "Kohai, if you're listening or watching, like at the 25-minute mark, go when Shadow says this part."
Yeah, no, nothing you can do about it, kid. But for lack of a better phrase, lean into it.
JB, that is a Abyssal Musings exclusive. Well, streaming to avoid um, exclusive as well.
Don't worry, I'm not going to show it again for the rest of this show, but it's that's a line beyond not owning it. I think you mean okay, right? Yeah, it's pretty funny, kid. It is, and honestly, it's. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit worse than the blue raspberry. I will grant you that, But in terms of like general offensiveness, it's really only super offensive to you and people who don't like watching people get fucked with a cactus.
And people have tried to do that.
Oh,
Aw.
it's just a joke, kid. And a good one at that. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, and like I did just tell him that I won't playing that again, at least in this show, and I probably won't make it a regular thing either, because I think for something like that to be effective, it's got to come as a surprise. It's got to have that shock factor, and if I play it every 5 minutes, it's gonna lose that. But also, I honestly, kid, I don't want to drive you away, but I do want you to be able to take a horrific joke aimed at you. Because trust me, a lot worse is coming your way in life in general.
Yeah.
As it does for us all. So you got to roll with the punches, kid.
And Shadow, now you know why we call her the demon memer.
Yeah.
That's why.
Right. And again, kid, nobody said be okay with it, but maybe like if I were in your position, which would be, bent over with a cactus up my ass in this case. What I would do is I would fire back. You know how to meme.
Yeah. Fire with fire.
Just have some fun with it, man. So that's just my little advice. But again, it is just a joke, but if it honestly offends you that bad, I might not use it again. However, I cannot promise no one else will.
Well, just don't send it to anybody else.
I'm not the only one who has it.
Who else has it?
Well, Kohai has it.
Well,
and she has a bunch of contact information. So,
yeah.
Hey, you know what? Go for it, kid. Yeah, meme the shit out of me. I'm good with that. Make it disgusting.
Just don't forget about his small tentacle.
He's shy about it.
I mean, that's fair. Honestly, Kohai, what do you think?
Dang, dude.
I think that's considering what I just showed, I think that's fair.
He got to give the kid some leeway. I mean,
that's actually some good ammo right there, Shadow.
Right? And trust me, Kohai's got thick skin like you wouldn't believe. She can take it.
And I can laugh. I mean, after all, I think one of the last memes I saw was me literally being on a leash with 4 paws standing on a damn plantation with a certain lioness holding the chain.
I mean, you did make that one, kid.
I mean, I thought it was funny.
Because it was.
And then I showed it to said lioness thinking that she was going to be assaulted. And she was like, no, that's exactly where you belong.
Yeah, trust me.
She was like, yeah, tell the kid I said good job. I was like, really? She was like, yeah, really. Now shut up. I was like,
fair enough. So with that out of the way, thank you all for being here, even those who are super pissed at me right now in the chat. We do appreciate your patronage. What do we have going on tonight, Larry?
Hey, wait a minute. Kohai says she won't be at what too much longer until she's moving.
Her job.
Oh, I thought she was gonna stop memeing. I was like, well, wait a minute.
No. She's gonna end up if she moves out of where she is, then she's gonna find another job. I think is what she's getting at here. Hey, Clue.
Hey,
You just
I s-
you just missed the most violating thing, and I just promised I wouldn't replay it this show.
yeah,
Sorry.
but hey, Clue. I just want you to know, I saw you last night. I know what you
Hey,
were
Bernie.
doing. I saw you in that stream last night, buddy. I was lurking. I know you pretended like you didn't see me when I said, "Hey, Clue." I know where you were at and what you were doing last night.
Oh, that's
Hmm
kind of creepy.
I didn't know he was there. It was a random stream that popped up in my feed, and it was somebody that I'm not even subscribed to. I click on the first name I see is the Clue channel with a wrench next to it.
Well, I mean, he doesn't just patron these channels here. He's all over the place.
Yes, I know, but I just wanted him to know that I know that he was on a stream last night. Well, in the chat with a wrench. Just want him to know. That's all. Well, it said Lawrence Knight on my name, so I think it was me.
I mean, to be fair, there's like 8,000 Lawrence Knights, and most of them are musicians on YouTube.
How many of them have my avatar and singled him out and know him?
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, let's get on with the program for this evening. What do we have?
Alrighty. So, as you guys know, this week is Shark Week. Shark Week started on Sunday. Now, I admit, I've had so much going on this week. I thought it was going to be one or two programs, and I know they had the cocaine shark thing going on, and I was like, okay, well, I'll wait till the weekend to watch that. But it turns out Discovery Channel had a full lineup. They had like 3 or 4 shows every day this week, like from Sunday all the way through tomorrow. In fact, one of the shows that apparently came on, I believe, either Sunday or Monday, was Jaws versus the Meg. So it looks like I'll be backtracking on some content. But for this week is this show has kind of, I wouldn't say two different meanings, but two different things going on. We have Shark Week, of course, and we have two quizzes. This is Quiz Week. One quiz is for Shark Week. The other quiz is for Infamous Quiz Volume 3. We also have a review of our movie of the week, which is Jaws. We have some good discussion on Shark Week, and we've got 3 articles for our infamous news segment. So sit tight, folks, because this is going to be a fun one.
Indeed.
Naomi, you look concerned.
I'm just ready for whatever's going to happen.
Well,
I'm pretty sure the worst thing that could have happened on the show already has. So,
So, it only happened to Shadow, but I managed to save my house that I'm, renting.
yeah,
Don't want to blow it up.
we have a song for that one, you guys, but I'm not going to sing it because we like you and we don't want to scare you guys away. Um, but before we get into tonight's festivities, I of course do have something that I want to read. Um, considering the fact that we just got ambushed with, considering the fact that we just got ambushed with something, I do think that this needs to be read, and it is our disclaimer, abyssal disclaimer. Happy Shark Week, everyone. With that said, warning: tonight's episode of Abyssal Musings is rated infamous by the staff. Although any topics and or videos displayed in tonight's episode is public and easy to find, those with quote snowflake leanings may find a few of these topics shocking. Tonight's topics will be discussed purely for entertainment purposes and are not meant to be hurtful to anyone. After all, we are not savages. We are a knight, a nometron, that's a killer robot from the future, and a cosmic being with tentacles and a really long one in the middle, who strive to provide late night entertainment to the public at large. We hope you enjoy our content tonight.
Did you see how he's like ad-libbing as he's going along?
Yep.
Well, I didn't want to put that in writing.
But you said it though.
Okay, well, I can always. Oh, well, I can't say that. Damn, I'm a liar. I can't even lie.
Yeah. There's also 2 disclaimers in the description. One of them is for our tech overlords saying that we're not experts in anything, so fuck off. And the other one is an actual disclaimer for the Copyright Act of Fair Use 1976, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But which is going to start going in all of our live streams just because.
Yeah, fair use, damn it, fair use.
So,
because the way people are today, there's groups that will say that because we have Nomi on here and she's Mexican, that it's cultural appropriation.
Yep. It is.
So next thing you know, we'll have them demanding that we turn over this site, just like Ben and Jerry's is gonna have to give over that land, and that's what happens when you got a big mouth.
That's true.
I have a very big mouth.
I'm not even going. Can that cactus fit in it?
Probably.
Well, because he eats planets, so yes, he can eat a cactus.
What do you poop after eating a planet anyway?
It just kind of gets like reabsorbed, sort of like photosynthesis.
So, like, say if
that's
you, okay, when you
No,
poop,
go ahead.
it just like becomes junk. But when you fart, would that become like another cosmic universe, or would that be like another?
I mean,
planet?
sometimes things explode in a cosmic sense. You know, it's like, oh, I let one go. Oh shit, I hope that system wasn't inhabited. Because it's gone now.
Just a big sulfur cloud that just floats through solar systems and destroys them.
Yeah, you know, with the tentacles. Yeah.
So maybe if we get rid of you, climate control will the climate control excuse will go away.
Dude, we're going to talk about this more tomorrow, but I just saw this thing where the surviving co-founder of OceanGate wants to send 1,000 people to fucking Venus.
He's lost his damn mind.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, we'll get into that tomorrow. But I mean, just as far as climate change goes, Venus.
So a couple of deaths aren't enough.
Yeah. You know, like we got it good. Venus is fucked.
Yeah.
Knowing world that will go. Isn't Venus hotter than parts of Venus hotter than Mercury?
700 degrees Fahrenheit.
Dang.
Most of that, of course, is because the sulfur clouds that enwrap the planet, they don't let heat escape. So the heat comes in from the sunlight, but it doesn't get back out. It just bounces off the clouds and like sits there. So it's got that like real hothouse thing going on. But because the clouds are sulfuric acid, basically, and that's what the rain is. There's no plant life. You know, I think they have something like 600-700 mile an hour winds constantly too. They've got lightning bolts that make ours look like giant pussies. You know, and oh yeah, almost all of the air is carbon dioxide.
You will die.
Yeah, there's no way human beings are surviving that.
Nope.
Otherwise, it's just like Earth. It's a little bit bigger than we are actually. But it's got a little more mass.
It's just a good idea. It's just as good as an idea as what just happened a few weeks ago. Right. I mean, it's just right. I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah, but he's talking about 1,000 people versus what, 5 or 6.
The worst thing happen is they all disintegrate, which they will.
I mean, melt is probably a more accurate term, but yeah, they'll
melt so fast.
Puddles of people.
I don't even think there will be puddles.
Yes, Clue. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you saying, Clue? And since it's sulfur, you're saying all the women are farting over there?
Well, there are no women over there. That's the thing. There's no life on that planet. There can't be. Not as we understand it anyway. You know, organic carbon-based life cannot survive in Venus on Venus. It can't be done. Like you guys know what geotherms are?
No. Enlighten us, Samuel.
They're life forms that live in like geothermal pockets on the bottom of the ocean. Like usually the temperatures reach pretty close to the surface of the sun, kind of thing. and they can survive there, but nowhere else. But nothing else can live where they live. They're, sort of like tube worms, that kind of thing. There might be something like that could survive over there, but they'd still, because they're carbon based, require some form of oxygen. So yeah, it's like Venus is completely inhospitable to carbon based life form as we know it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they don't know anything for sure about Titan. That's mostly speculation. But yeah, I've heard that too, Carrie. Couple of plants. So sorry, I've kind of got us off track with this whole Venus thing. We'll talk more about that tomorrow on SITV. We're gonna do a whole like space themed kind of deal. Aliens in the White House. Billionaire idiots going to Venus, that kind of thing. It'll be fun.
Yeah, talking about aliens and just getting the hype up and just it's all a distraction. So it's nothing we haven't seen before, but I'd be kind of interested to see what an alien out there, and then people will fight again to do rushing Area 51 so they can just try to clap alien cheeks.
Yeah, because that went so well last time.
Yeah. So if you're a food truck vendor, I think now is the time to plan ahead when that event happens.
Right. Yeah. All right. So where do we want to start, Larry?
Well. First thing up is the quiz. Or we could talk about Jaws. Where do you want to start?
We can start the quiz.
Yeah, I'm good either way, buddy.
Alrighty. Hold on just a quick second. You guys go ahead and converse amongst yourselves while I get this set up.
Well, Samuel's away, but I'll tell him. I'll go ahead and.
I'm right here. I was just trying not to make my my slurping down my Mountain Dew too loud for the microphone.
Slurp.
So the Eldritch God loves Mountain Dew, but if you eat this planet, you won't have any more Mountain Dew. Just letting you know.
Yeah, I'll get over it.
But I'll let the chat know that before this stream happened, I was baking gluten-free peanut butter, almond flour, M&M cookies. So they're quite delicious. And I was making a batch and I forgot to turn off the oven. And I forgot another batch in the oven. So I almost blew up my place. But yeah, the cookies came out good though. They didn't burn.
Well, I say every day, Naomi's getting closer to
You
blowing
weren't gonna
her
sing.
ass all the way across the equator.
Yeah.
I won't sing anymore. Don't worry, everybody. I won't sing anymore.
But the cookies came out delicious.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
They were
he
filled
said,
with sulfur, right?
yeah. Larry says, converse amongst yourselves. I'm suddenly taken back to that Mike Myers character from Saturday Night Live, the old Jewish one, where she's like, I'm getting verklempt. Converse amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Bagels and white cream cheese is too expensive. Discuss.
Discuss.
I do a pretty good, impression of that character. I can't even remember the character's name, man.
Alrighty.
Hey, Luke Astley. So,
Hello.
be glad you're coming in now.
It's Beaky.
Hey, Beak. Good to see you.
Hey.
Alrighty.
Okay, here we go.
Week. You guys in the chat, feel free to participate if you'd like. We'll give you guys some time to respond. Here we go. How does the nursefish hunt and eat prey? Nursefish hunt in small packs, then attack prey like any other shark does. It fakes its death by lying on its back when prey are near, then quickly flips over and attacks. It doesn't. The nurse shark lays on the ocean floor and sucks in its food from the floor. Or it dive bombs smaller fish to knock them out, then it eats.
I used to know the answer to this. I'm pretty sure nurse sharks are bottom feeders.
Joker says 1. Lou says it doesn't, but it doesn't what, Lou?
I think she's going with the one I did,
Three.
the bottom feeders. Yeah, 3. JB says 1.
Okay. And Lou's saying 3. Nomi, you're saying
I think it's number 1.
so that's 2 for 1. Sam,
Yeah, I'm sticking with 3. I think I do think they're bottom feeders. I could be wrong, but that's
Okay.
what I think.
Carrie's saying 4.
Is
So we've got a tie
Yeah.
going on.
Let's see. It's kind of. They'll also eat your fingers if you're not careful.
That
But
is
their
very
fingers,
true.
their teeth are so sharp you won't even feel the finger come off.
It's razor sharp.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm not. I think they're bottom feeders. Got anybody else in the chat who wants to throw down on this?
Yeah, because we've got 2 2s, 2 3s. Oh, Shadow says 3, so that does
Okay.
Okay.
it. Correct.
Ooh.
Aha. Thought so.
Sharks only kill when they're hungry, which surprisingly isn't often. How long can some sharks survive without eating but live off the oil stored in its body? 15 days, 1 year, 1 week, or 1 month?
Yeah, depending on the species, I think it's a year.
I would say 1 month.
Okay. Carrie says a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 for a year, 1 for a month. Anybody else in chat?
What do you say, Larry?
I know the answer to this, so I'm disqualified from
Oh, okay.
Shadow Goblin.
Sharks help to hurt fish at the bottom of the ocean.
So Shadow's saying a year, so that's 2 for a year, 1 for a month.
Got 1 for a week here.
Okay.
I think
So
that's
wait,
3 for a year.
yeah, 3 for a year, 1 for a week, 1 for a month. So we'll say the years have it. Correct.
Mm.
What is the highest grossing shark film on this list? The Meg, Jaws, Open Water, or Jaws 2: The Revenge?
See,
Jaws.
that's like 40 years worth of inflation though.
Mm.
So that's kind of probably the Meg.
You say the Meg. We've got 2 for the Jaws. We've got
Oh.
3 for Jaws.
There's like 4 in the chat for Jaws, and I
Oh, yeah,
hope
4.
that's correct. But I think probably given inflation, it's probably the Meg. Open Water
Naomi.
didn't do very well. It was good, but it didn't do very well.
Naomi.
I said Jaws.
You said Jaws.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. No, the Meg.
Oof. Samuel's
Sorry, guys.
on fire.
Some sharks are venomous. True or false?
False?
True.
I don't know a lot about sharks.
No, there's certain dogfish that have venom in their spines on their dorsal fins and such.
We got 2 for true. Damn you, Sam, you.
I know sharks. I'm not an expert by any means.
Bernie B still saying Jaws too. Joker says true. Clue says false.
Okay.
And true too. All right, so the trues have it, and it is true. Scientists believe sharks are. Wow, I need to fix this. Scientists believe sharks are colorblind. With that said, some fish have an easier time evading sharks than others. What the hell? What the hell did I do?
I don't know.
False. Okay, evading is supposed to be a easier time seeing in the dark. F it. One answer. False. Sharks have eyes like cats. They have. Oh my
Reed's
god.
eyesight.
Their eyesight
Yeah,
is
they
okay.
have great
but they-
eyesight and can see in the dark and murky waters. So, if I remember correctly, it's supposed to say some scientists believe sharks are colorblind. With that said, some fish have an easier time evading sharks than other fish. There we go. Yeah.
I would say I don't know. I mean, some fish are probably adapted to evading sharks, would be my guess. So I'd say true. Um, and also, sharks don't rely on their eyesight. You know, their eyesight's fine, but they don't rely on that. They have other senses that are much more accurate.
Naomi,
Uh,
because we got 2 for false. The Chateau says false. I
I
mean,
want to say true.
okay. So Burnaby says true. Sam, you said true, right?
I did.
Okay, and Shadow says false, and Nomi, you're saying true.
Yes.
Okay, let's see.
Oh,
False.
look at that.
Yeah. Even though men and women reportedly spend the same amount of time in the ocean, sharks seem to prefer chewing on guys. According to a study, 90% of recorded shark attacks have happened to men.
I want to say yes, true on that one.
True.
Because, yeah.
More men spend more time in the water than women do. So statistically speaking,
But remember, it says reportedly spend the same amount of time in the ocean.
yeah, I guess. I mean, you know, like you've got fishermen, you've got sailors, you've got most surfers are dudes. A lot of women surf, but most of them are dudes.
All right, so Suka says false. Periods.
Oh, I
Okay,
mean,
so well, everybody, mostly everybody's saying true, so we gotta go with that, and it's true.
Yay, my first one.
What do sharks do when they enter frigid waters? Sharks heat their eyelids so they can keep hunting without losing their sight. Sharks pump water throughout their body constantly to create body heat. Sharks will enter frigid waters for a short time to hunt for prey. Most sharks avoid frigid waters because of the danger it poses.
that I
I
don't
think
know.
sharks pump water through their body to create body heat. I think that one's true.
I think that probably sounds about right. I mean, they have to constantly draw water through to breathe anyway. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I think so. We'll go with that.
All right, and
Newcastle says two.
Clue says two. Clue says three. Lou says two. Um, Carrie says sharks have antifreeze, and Suka is saying a short time. So it looks like the twos have it. No, they
Dang
heat
it.
their eyelids. They do constantly have to pump water through their bodies though, or else they will die, because they have to pump it through their gills. So they have to constantly move, and they
It's
only
one of
semi-sleep.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons that you find bull sharks in the Mississippi is because the current of the river will carry the water through them without them having to swim, so they'll just sit on the
Yep.
bottom of it.
Makes it easier to chew us up. Producers of this movie arrogantly thought that it could train a real great white shark. Thankfully for the actors, they were told it would be impossible to pull off. Jaws, 47 meters below, The Shallows, or Deep Blue Sea.
I'm gonna go with the shallows. I'll agree with Shadow on that one.
Two for The Shallows.
Yeah, the
Any-
shallows because Deep Blue Sea is just CGI.
Anyone else? That's four for The
Joker says
Shallows.
Shallows. Yeah.
Clue is saying the Deep Blue Sea. Suka says Deep Blue Sea. So let's see. Still going with The Shallows though.
I was gonna say most of the
No,
sharks.
it was Jaws.
Oh, okay.
This shark takes the word scavenger to a new level. Items found in the belly of the shark includes bags of money, license plates, dog leashes, birth control pills, and other sharks. Whale shark, basking shark, megamouth shark, or the tiger shark.
It's tiger shark.
Yeah.
1 for tiger, 2 for tiger, 3 for tiger.
Tiger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiger
Well,
for-
they're basically goats.
Yeah.
They'll eat. They pulled a whole suit of armor out of one once. Not a joke. They did. They actually did. Yeah.
Yeah. And those are the most common sharks in the waters anyway, where people are nearby.
There you go. The ending of Jaws was not the original ending. It was changed because if the scene had been filmed, the actor involved would have likely been killed by a 16-foot great white shark that got stuck on the boat wrench and destroyed the rig in its attempt to get free. False or true?
I've never heard that, so I'm gonna go with false.
A
I want to go
lioness
with.
shark.
I'm gonna go with false as well because I'm pretty sure they did the research before they filmed this movie, and it was just an animatronic for the shark anyway.
Everybody's saying false. Okay, let's see. No, it's true.
Hmm.
Which is the most aggressive shark on this list? Sand shark, short fin mako shark, great hammerhead shark, or the black tip shark?
I mean, in general,
Uh,
I mean, the obvious answer is the great hammerhead, which is the only one on the list that's a man eater. But it's not I don't know. I kind of want to go with black tip.
The one for black tip,
I'll go for mako shark.
one for mako. We got one for hammerhead. Oh, we got two for black tip. Two for hammerhead. Black tips are cute. Makos don't exist. Shadow
Yeah.
makos do exist. Sand sharks are CIA covered.
Yeah, you'll be saying that as soon as you step on one of the fucking shallows and it takes your foot.
Mm-hmm.
Just the
That's
tip.
it.
Just the tip.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably change to hammerhead actually.
Okay. Know me? Last chance.
I'm sticking with mako.
All right, so I guess that's what 3 for hammerhead now, or yeah, 3 for hammerhead. Let's see. No, black tip.
Oh,
Fuck, I was right the first time.
Yeah. How many species of shark are there? 372, just over 1,000, 150, or nearly 500 species?
Nearly 500.
Know
a
me.
500. Yeah.
That's 2. Anybody in the chat? Going once, going twice.
Blue
Okay,
says 150.
Blue says 150.
Suka says 1K. Carrie says 1K.
So that brings it to an even vote. My answer is porridge.
That's not helpful, kid.
Black tips are pack hunters. So we are at a tie.
Seems that we are at an impasse. Casey, like Lou Castley, where are you at, girl? Make a vote.
Yeah, Lou. Lou, you got to tie this
Oh, JV
over
says
1K.
1K. All right,
All
there's
right,
our
let's
answer.
check. Nope, nearly 500.
500.
Thrasher sharks kill their prey by biting into it and then mimicking a crocodile by going into a death roll. True or false? Thrasher sharks slap their prey to death.
Thresher sharks. And their tails are long and blade-like, and they do use them when they hunt as weapons.
That's 2 for false.
False.
3 for false.
Shadow says true,
Shadow's
Carrie
wrong.
says false.
but the majority of the vote says otherwise.
Yeah, so let's do it. False.
Yeah.
What was discovered back in 1898 Japan? The bull shark, the whale shark, the goblin shark, or the dwarf lantern shark?
The
I'm gonna
goblin
go with
shark.
the whale shark because of the whaling industry.
So
They're
one whale, one for whale, one for goblin.
yeah. The whale shark is not actually a whale. It's a 50-foot fish, but they eat plankton and krill mostly.
We got 2 for goblin. Oh, 3 for goblin. 2 for whale now. So it looks like the goblins have it. No, you said goblin, right?
I did say goblin.
All right, let's check. Correct.
Oh.
This shark boasts the longest gestation period, 3.5 years before it gives birth. Bamboo sharks, frilled sharks, nurse sharks, or angel sharks.
No fucking idea.
That's not a choice.
Angel
Yeah,
sharks.
Yeah, we'll go
Naomi
with that.
says angel. That's 2 for angel. Anybody else? Going once. Going twice. And looks like everybody stumped, so we'll go to Angel, and it is wrong. Frilled
Oh,
shark.
dang it.
There's a 5.5 inch shark that glows in the dark. False or true?
True.
True.
True. There you go. Sharks have some of the thickest skin in the ocean. What is the recorded thickness of shark skin? 3 inches. Well, that's supposed to say 1 foot, 1/4. 6 inches or 8 inches.
You're talking like the record thickness, right?
No, just in general. This question was when I found this fact. It said in general. It didn't give specifics. Somebody says 3. Somebody says 8.
I say 8.
That's 2 for 8. 3
I'm gonna
for 8.
go. Yeah, I want to go with 3.
3 inches. So the 8 inches have it by the. Oh, Lou says 6, but it looks like the 8 inches have it. So we'll see.
Suka, tiny sharks that live deep down where there's no light.
Yeah. Suka says 6, but I think they're still outgunned. But it was 6 inches.
Mm.
Where did the term "jumping the shark" come from? A shark week
Happy Days.
stunt gone wrong. It was edited out of the show but reported on by witnesses. An episode of Happy Days. A figure of speech created in the 70s to highlight the dangers of taking high-level risks with your life. A 70s stunt where a man tied chum to his body and successfully leaped over a, quote, jumping great white shark.
It's literally an episode from Happy Days. The Fonz literally jumps sharks, and that's how everybody knew that the show had like just gone off the rails.
Yeah,
It's
it's an
Happy
episode
Days
of.
is too.
Yeah, and you're right. It is an episode of Happy Days because I
Mhm.
remember watching an episode of that.
It was
Yeah.
Fosse's fault. True. Besides humans and whales, what are the natural predators of sharks? Alligators, dolphins, seals, or hippos?
Dolphins.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Carrie, the scene is stupid, but I mean that's why they call it jumping the shark when a show gets dumb.
That's 3 for dolphins.
Hmm.
4 for dolphins. 5 for dolphins. All right. Well, we'll check. No, seals.
Some big fucking seals.
Yeah. All kinds of unusual things have been found inside sharks, like shoes and bottles of wine. Even the back end of a horse was found in a shark's stomach. What else on this list is something found inside a shark? A bicycle, half of a motorcycle, an engine, or torpedo?
I'm gonna go with a torpedo
Yeah,
because that seems
torpedo.
like it's fun.
2 for torpedo.
Torpedo
Orcas are
shark.
technically dolphins. F you, Larry. Yes, I know orcas are dolphins, but they weren't.
No. Shadow, orcas are porpoises. They're not dolphins.
They're kind of loosely related to dolphins.
Yeah, no, they're very closely related, but they are
3
porpoises
for-
and dolphins are as different as like monkeys and apes.
3 for torpedoes, 1 for bicycle. All of the above is not a choice. So we're gonna go with torpedo.
Torpedo.
Oh, Lou says engine. So,
JV says all the above.
yeah. Now he's saying torpedo. Okay. Well, let's go with torpedo. True.
Haha.
How many teeth does a shark grow in its lifetime? 100,000, 1 million, 50,000, or 20,000?
It's a lot because they're constantly growing them.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
That's why they got multiple rows. When they fall out in the front, the back ones
Yep.
move up.
How much is a lot?
A
To you.
million.
Got 1 for 1 million.
Yeah, I mean, again, depends on the species, but I'll go with the million. I think the other numbers seem low.
Got 1 for 20K. 3 for 1 million. 1 for 100K. So let's say 3 for 1 million. We'll go with that. And no, it's 50,000.
Nobody wins.
Sharks cannot reproduce asexually.
False.
Or true?
False.
It's false.
Both of you guys say false. Let's see. False. How do sharks get rid of things they can't digest? Sharks spit out what they can't break with their teeth. Sharks thrust their stomach out of its mouth, then pulls it back in. They vomit the same way a human does. Sharks widen their bodies and move in a way that causes things to float out.
It's the second one. I've seen footage. Their whole stomach comes out of their mouth. and it just turns inside out and shit floats away.
I believe Samuel on this one.
Yeah,
Alrighty, he says he saw it, and he's right.
it's fucking disgusting.
All sharks have a sixth sense, but with a whopping 3,000 ampular pores that pick up electrical fields, this shark has the strongest sixth sense of all. Bull sharks, great white sharks, hammerhead sharks, or mako sharks.
Great white.
Great white.
That's two for great. That's two for the greatest of whites. Joker used "ew" is not a choice. Shadow says Mako.
What's Halo got to do with anything?
Beak says Mako.
Beak says Mako.
So it's 2 for 2.
I don't know, that might. I'm gonna swap to Mako.
Okay, that's 3. Nomitron.
I'm sticking with great. Yeah, I'm sticking with great white.
All right, so the vote goes to Mako, and it is wrong. Hammerhead.
Damn it.
Well, Joker was right. This shark reaches sexual maturity at 100 years old, has an unknown lifespan, and unless its meat is boiled 3 times, then dried before being eaten, its meat is highly toxic to humans. In fact, its bacteria causes the same side effects of severe alcohol consumption. The Greenland shark, the blue shark, the Portuguese shark, or the goblin shark.
Greenland shark.
It's 1 for Greenland. 2 for Greenland. 3 for Greenland.
Okay, I'll go for Greenland.
4 for Greenland. Nobody's beating that. And it's true. Bam. 52%.
We failed.
Well, shoot, you got more than half.
It's true.
Yep. No, I just saw some stuff on Greenland sharks the other day. They're fucking wild.
Damn, Major, you scary.
Well, it is Shark Week, so do tell.
Well, like I said, they don't have any idea what their age limit is. It's one of those things where, I mean, this is true of fish generally, but usually fish are in the middle of some kind of food chain where they've got natural predators they got to worry about. Some of them get sick, some of them, die in accidents, but these things don't seem to do that at all. And they just get older, and like all fish, as they grow, they get bigger with age too, but they grow pretty slowly by comparison to some other sharks. Like obviously, a great white gets anywhere between 16 and 18 feet on average, right? It can do that probably in about 30 years, providing it doesn't get eaten by something bigger, which does happen. But it's almost like think Lord of the Rings, think your elves, right? Your elves, basically, they take a long time to reach maturity, and then after that, they pretty much just stop aging. Greenland sharks do that, but they're fucking butt ugly. And as long as something external doesn't kill them, they don't die. Funny story. Same thing is true of certain reptile species. I don't know if it's about their diets or about being cold-blooded. But yeah, there are certain things. Yeah, if they don't contract the same kind of illnesses. They don't just stop and wind down like mammals and birds do. So maybe there's something to that. Maybe, in my opinion, honestly, if you want to look back to the dinosaurs and if they were in fact cold-blooded, and I know there's some people who contest that now, but I think that might have accounted for their size. Is that without an external factor putting them down, they just kept growing. So, but yeah, Greenland sharks are, I mean, they're fish, but yeah, they're prehistoric, surely. Yeah. So yeah, that's some wild stuff.
That is wild.
They're also like exclusively cold water, which is unusual. There are certain sharks that will range through cold and warm waters, but these guys pretty much just stick around in cold water, which is it's not a normal thing in terms of like shark behavior goes. It is for their species, just not sharks in general.
Yeah, but I mean, as we know, bull sharks kind of, well, don't they? I don't think bull sharks care where they go.
No, bull sharks are one of the most adaptable species. They can go pretty much anywhere that there is water. They're also one of the only shark species that can breathe in fresh water as well as salt. Um, like hence swimming part way up the Mississippi and all that stuff. They can do that. Most other shark species, while they could definitely make the swim, would not survive because the water is the wrong kind. And so that is, bull sharks are very hardy species. And they're also fairly aggressive. But in fact, I think it was the 1908, 1907, 1908 attacks on, I believe it was Martha's Vineyard, which were the inspiration for Jaws, was believed to have been one or more bull sharks.
You're right.
They just went with great whites because great whites are scarier in the movies.
Yeah, they wanted to induce more fear. And it's funny thing too. And we might as well segue this into Jaws. But I was reading that when they were in the shark cages in the movie, that they were using quote s- smaller actors to make Jaws, to make the great white look even bigger than it actually was.
In certain scenes, yeah. Usually, like in the cage scene towards the end of the movie, yeah, they absolutely did that. Scared the pants off the little guy too. But that was the shark that they used there. That was not a live shark. When you see the footage of the live shark, that's all stock footage that was taken by a pair who do shark dives regularly and knew Steven Spielberg. But generally speaking, anytime an actor was in the water with the thing, it was one of the robots.
You ever wonder what if the robot went nuts?
Well, there were rumors to that effect for a long fucking time. That when you watch that final scene, and spoilers, guys, but the movie came out in 1975, and if you haven't seen it yet, tough shit, I guess. Go
Yeah.
watch it; it's awesome. But when Quint dies, right, there were rumors that on-screen death was real. Like he really got munched by the robot. As it turns out, that was bullshit. That's not how he died. But and the rumor was that Robert Shaw and his wife insisted that they keep that in the film because he was a consummate actor or whatever.
Mhm.
But again, that was just a rumor. But it was
It's
told for a
funny.
long time.
It's funny you bring that up because I forget the movie. But while I was doing my research last week, looking at this, and I can't even remember where I got it from, but I found out that there was a movie that involved sharks, and there was a diver that jumped in the water and he had to do a scene, and a real great white came along and killed him. It ate him,
Hmm.
and the director in the studios got the whole thing on tape and actually put it in a movie. So people were watching this movie and they're thinking that it's just cinematics of this guy of the character getting killed, and not knowing that this was real footage of this man being eaten to death by a great white.
Mhm.
They actually put it in the movie.
Yeah, Hollywood's done some shady shit.
Yeah, it's just I was, oh man, just the things that I was reading, and I was like, how in the hell did they get away with this stuff?
Yeah, a lot of those, a lot of that kind of thing, there weren't really restrictions on. Like, for instance, do you know why PG-13 became a thing?
Let me guess, because kids under 13 were going and watching those movies.
No, it was because Gremlins. Gremlins came out, and Steven Spielberg lobbied for PG-13 because he felt that there should be a midway point between PG and R.
Hmm. That makes sense.
That
I
makes sense.
believe that.
Mhm.
Now that makes sense because when I saw Gremlins for the first time, I definitely was not 13, and that movie, when them Gremlins turned bad, that scared the hell out of me.
Right, but like Jaws, for example, is rated PG.
Yeah,
You know,
and I saw Jaws when I was a kid, but it didn't. I enjoyed it. It didn't scare me. Gremlins gave me some concern. Yeah, I was just like, it got to the point whenever I go over a friend's house and they had a Gizmo doll, I was like, nope.
Mhm.
I was like, my mother got to come and get me.
Are you talking about Conan the Destroyer? Because Conan the Barbarian was R. I mean, there's a blood orgy where they're eating people in it.
and having sexual relations with each other.
That's why I just said orgy.
Well, you said blood orgy, so I thought maybe you might
Yeah.
have been implying something else, but that was
No. They were having sex and they were eating people in a very cannibalistic fashion.
yeah. Nomi, have you? I know this is going off topic. Have you ever seen Conan the Barbarian?
I have not.
You should see they had this.
Oh,
You should have this. They had this cauldron in the scene. They had this cauldron, and you could see like arms and legs in the cauldron.
there's a head at one point.
Yeah, it is.
But it's worth it. Just they do a master. It's one of Schwarzenegger's first films. Not his first film, but it's one of his earlier films where he hadn't quite mastered like English yet, and so he has very few lines, even though he's the main character. But the majority of the story is told with the panoramic shots that they do, which are gorgeous, and the music, the score, which is written by a guy named Basil Polidorus, is one of the most epic fucking movie scores ever made. Plus, James Earl Jones is the bad guy.
I'm putting
And-
that in my notes of movies to watch.
Yes, and
Yeah.
James Earl Jones, you know him very well, Nomi, because he is the voice of Darth Vader.
And Mufasa.
That's right.
Yeah, he's also in Field of Dreams, but
Yeah.
which is also a good movie, but it's very different.
Hey, Nomi, if
Hey.
you bake it, it will explode.
Shadowhawk, that orgy got in the way of violence. No, did you watch the movie? No, it
Shadowhawk,
doesn't. They
even
violence
think he
all
was-
over that shit.
I don't even think Shadow wasn't even born when that movie came out. That's how old it is.
No, I know he
No,
wasn't.
but that movie
because
came
when
out.
in 1982, I was just a couple of years old myself.
I was 4.
82. I wasn't born myself.
Yeah.
You're on a panel, so you get a pass, though, Nomi.
Okay, good. But
Yeah.
I know pop culture. I know that's a movie that's been around for years. I just need to get around to see it.
You know, honestly, I liked the Destroyer. I think Conan the Barbarian was a better movie. I liked Conan the Destroyer better though, just because of the variety in characters. But I think story wise and just real grit and just realism, I think Conan the Barbarian was the better movie. Shadow was
Little
a little bit-
baby.
There are 3 movies, right?
There's
No.
3
Red-
Conan movies.
Red Sonja is technically the 3rd
Oh, yeah.
Conan movie, and they can't call him that because of licensing rights and all that stuff. But the character that Schwarzenegger plays in that movie is
Yeah,
Conan. the
Calidor.
Barbarian. Yeah, he is Conan of Samaria. But
Wait, Calidor is I didn't know he's supposed to
They
be
had-
Conan.
they had to give him a different name because the licensing rights had changed hands in between that and Conan the Destroyer, so they couldn't legally call him that. But yeah, that's who he is.
The funny thing is though is that even though of course they're both Schwarzenegger, but the way they acted was the way he acted as Calidor versus Conan was completely different. Calidor was nowhere near as aggressive as Conan was.
Right, and he was a smartass,
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense with all the other stuff. They got Sandal Bergman to play the evil queen. She played Valeria in Conan the Barbarian.
Right.
First of all, real quick, GV, Olivia Diabo was like 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah.
There are a few issues with Conan the Destroyer. One of them being, the fact that they put that young girl in a very skimpy and nearly sheer dress in the same room as Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh.
Yeah, who's also in that movie. Plays her bodyguard of all things.
Who reportedly slept with over 20,000 women.
Yeah, and there's rumors that some of those were not entirely consensual, or of age. But yeah, so I yeah, no, fair enough. And at that age, you would never, it wouldn't have been a thing. When I was a kid, I watched The Blue Lagoon.
I did too.
Brooke Shields is older than I am. You know, when that movie came out, she was older than me. You know, now I can't go back and watch it because she's naked in practically the whole thing, and she was underage when they filmed it. But
Yeah, she was. And that's
yeah,
when as soon as I saw it once when I was a kid, and after that I was like, yeah, okay, I'm too young to be watching this.
hmm
And then years later, I think maybe I was around 20, people started talking about watching it, and I was like, no, no, I'm good.
yep. Yeah, times surely have changed. Did you guys ever see the original Clash of the Titans with Harry Hamlin?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the scene at the beginning when Theseus is or Perseus is a little boy and he's walking on the beach with his mom and they're both just nude,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? See, in that scene, like you see everything on both of them and all that stuff, and he's like a little boy, like 3 years old or whatever, and she's obviously a developed woman and a mother and all that stuff, but there wasn't anything sexual about that scene. It was just a mother and a child, going about their lives in ancient fucking Greece. If they were to do something like that today, it would be immediately twisted into a horrifically sexual thing. I mean, hell, you see little Kal-El's weenus in Superman 1978 for half a second. When he comes out of the crater and all that, and that wasn't like a
Yeah, I
sexual
remember
thing,
that.
but it could be taken that way nowadays, and people are so sensitive over that stuff. Yeah, and so basically, Lou, yeah, you're absolutely right. Times have changed quite a bit. But in
Well,
Olivia Diablo's case in Destroyer, there were a lot of sexual undertones in that movie with
yeah,
her.
but I think because so much has been going on, um, and everything that we've been seeing, I think that's why just nobody wants to go near that. And not even me. It's like, man, I don't want to. I don't want to see it. I don't want to get accused. No, it's better to just turn
Mhm.
the other way and run.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, when I was a kid, I definitely saw that stuff, and now I'm like, yeah, I know what older movies to avoid because
Right.
because of what I saw.
And some of these movies are considered like the greatest movies ever. Taxi Driver, for example. Right. Now, I don't believe that Jodie Foster is at all nude in that one, but she is playing a child prostitute, and there are some very fucked up scenes with her and adult men. Yeah, also, I never really liked that movie much, but the it's considered like one of Robert De Niro's seminal works. Which is funny because it's really early in his career, but um, yeah, I didn't see Pretty Baby. I'm not sure what that is. They're talking about in the chat.
It's about a
Um,
pretty baby, obviously. Duh.
yeah, apparently, I don't know. I've never heard of it. So, yeah, but but speaking of childhood and seeing things probably before you should. The first time I saw Jaws, and I have seen it hundreds of times since because, like I've stated before, and I've tried to get Amira to recognize this true fact, but she won't do it. It's the greatest movie on earth that has ever been made, in my opinion, and I will love it till the day I die. I was 3 the first time I saw it. I was 3 years old, and I loved it. I took to it like you wouldn't believe. And I've loved it ever since. My sister, on the other hand, she got to about 3 years old. I'm a few years older than she is. And my parents are like, well, he liked it so much, maybe she will. And to this day, she lives in one of the most landlocked locations on the North American continent and is terrified that sharks are coming to get her. She had the exact opposite reaction to that movie that I did. And we both watched it at the same age with the same parents. So it just goes to show, you never can tell with each child is different. Parents out there, like you know this, like each of your children is a different person and they will react differently to the same stimuli.
Yep.
But yeah, I've loved Jaws ever since. It's
I can't blame your. I don't blame your sister though because even though I enjoyed Jaws, that was my first real exposure to great white sharks. I had never
mhm,
heard of them, never seen them in anything until I saw that movie, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's in the water. I knew about whales, I knew about dolphins, all the other stuff, but I didn't know. I mean, I've heard of a shark, but I didn't know about the great white, and even with some of the sharks that we just saw in the quiz, the whale shark, and I didn't know about them until 2 days ago.
Whale sharks are massive, but they're very rare.
Yeah.
I mean, the largest shark on it's not just the largest shark on Earth; it's the largest fish.
Yeah, it's the largest fish.
Yeah,
Because I think real whales are considered mammals, correct?
real whales are mammals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and these honestly, the whale sharks get bigger than a lot of species of whales do. We're talking like a 50-foot long fish.
mhm.
That's huge. You're only the upper echelon of whaledom gets anywhere near that, and you're talking like humpback, sperm whales, blue whales. Blue whales get bigger, obviously, but beyond that, like most other whale species are quite a bit shorter than that.
Wait a minute, check this, mate. Look at this.
I would not take a shower after watching it because my uncle told me sharks would be able to go. You know what? My mom couldn't use the toilet right after Jaws came out. For a long time, she had the hardest time using a toilet because she was afraid a shark was going to come through it neither.
For me, it's not shark. It's snakes. I've read stories about certain species of snakes coming up out of toilets and biting people.
Yep.
Hmm.
And that actually has happened.
It does.
So,
Sometimes they'll hang out just under the rim of the bowl,
mhm.
and you won't see them when you sit down.
Until
But
you
they'll-
feel a striking pain on your ass cheek.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or ball sack.
I mean, unless it decides to go probing, I guess.
That's why I leave the lid up.
Yeah. But yeah, like the when Jaws came out, it was like, obviously if you watch it now, some of the special effects, most of them hold up pretty well, but there are a few where you're just like, yeah, it's obviously a fake shark, and also sharks don't roar, so there's that. But
Yeah, they don't have vocal cords.
yeah, so like, and it does several times in the movie. It's just like, roar, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't happen in real life, but
Whatever. Sharks.
yeah, it doesn't
Like,
it doesn't
roar,
happen.
damn it.
Yeah, but aside from that, like, a lot of it does hold up, and they used stock footage wherever they could, so they could get away as much as they could with only using the animatronics as sparingly as possible, so that it looked more real. But there are a couple of times, like when Quint's getting eaten, when the shark comes out of the water and like lands on the boat and it starts sinking, and it's just like sitting there chomping away, like you can see the fucking hinges on its mouth.
While it's going roar.
But so yeah, there are a few things that don't hold up, but at the time there was nothing like that in cinema. Yeah, she's gone and lost it again.
I thought they did research on this.
I didn't catch that through all the chortling. What?
I thought they did research on this.
You're talking about a movie where they had to be talked out of trying to tame and train a great white shark, a real one, and they were gonna put the actors in the water with the shark. They actually thought it was gonna work. I think a couple of lawyers talked them out of it because the producers were like,
"Oh, we lost Samuel.
We lost Samuel. We lost Samuel. Well, folks,
I'm sorry, I
Devices.
didn't mean my laughing to like scare Samuel off. There, no, he's not here anymore.
there you go.
That was
What happened?
I got side buttons on my mouse, and if I hit the wrong one, it kicks me out of this. But I'm back. Sorry,
Roar,
folks.
Lou.
But yes,
Roar.
there were some things that they got very, very wrong. I think the roars, they knew that they didn't do that. I think they just added those for effect. But in general, yeah, they had to learn a lot of shit on the fly. Spielberg himself has talked about how difficult it was because the whole thing was shot on the actual open ocean, right? And while it made for fantastic shots and scenery and all that stuff, apparently the logistics of doing that were a fucking nightmare. And also very expensive. They went way over budget.
Mm.
There is one fun fact though. There's a bit where a shot is coming up over Brody's shoulder, and you can see the night sky behind him, and what looks like a shooting star goes across the screen. And most people, when they see it, they're just like, "Oh, what was that?" They actually captured a live shooting star on camera.
Oh.
Nice.
It's one of those like once in a million kind of events. Like obviously shooting stars happen, but to be able to catch it on a film that's preserved forever, kind of thing. I mean, that was pretty cool. So, yeah, and they pioneered all that stuff, and there's a reason that James Cameron, for example, filmed The Abyss in a fucking tank.
Well, I tell you what, the roaring
Good night, Shadow.
good night,
Shadow.
Shadow. The roaring shark known as Bruce. That's what they named it, was Bruce, right?
Well, there were 3 of them: Bruce 1, Bruce 2, and Bruce
Right.
3.
Well, one of the Bruces got stuck, and he got stuck, and some industry friends, Spielberg had friends and whatnot. They were going, and I was reading this, how they went around to one of the Bruces, and they were fooling around. Spielberg sticks his head into Bruce, right? Because it's open. His friends, they hit something, and it shut on Spielberg's head, and it locked, and they couldn't get him out. They had to pry it open, and while they were able to pry it open, they broke it. They broke it and snuck away because they didn't want to get caught, because they weren't supposed to be where they were.
Mhm.
So they shut this thing on this man's head, which in itself probably could have killed him.
I mean, yeah, they were pretty sturdy machines. So, solid machines. Sturdy is the wrong word. They were always breaking down. That's the other reason they used a lot of stock footage, and there's very, very few shots of the animal on screen until like the 3rd act, because they were trying to minimize that on account of the fact that the robots didn't fucking work half the time. They'd get like salt water in the joints and shit like that, and it would really fuck with the circuitry and that kind of thing, obviously, as they did. And they had 3 of them. They had one that was painted so that you could shoot it from head on, one that was painted so you could shoot it from the right side, and one from the left side. But if you were to look at the parts that weren't supposed to face the camera, it was just like, metalwork and chassis and that kind of thing. So there's all kinds of neat stuff about this movie. And it was, as Joker mentioned earlier, it was the first summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
No, and they called it that because people were lined up literally around the block to get tickets, which just didn't happen at theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in years. I mean, when the newer Star Wars movies came out, I saw that. But out of all the movies that I've ever gone to watch, and there were long lines, I never stood in a line as long as I did than when Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out.
Really?
That line was down the dang street. It was down the street.
I wouldn't have
So
figured.
people were waiting in line, and you had to wait, because you didn't buy a ticket and then get in line. Because some places you buy a ticket and you get in line because it was open seating. They didn't have assigned seats, right? This was just to buy the ticket and then get in. So you're literally standing in line while other people are watching the movie, and then you get up to the ticket booth, and then we have to buy the ticket, and then have to wait in line and another line to wait to get our seats. And my mother had taken me to go see it, and I think we were there so long. I'm sure that I grew a few more inches by the time we actually got in to watch that movie.
See, I didn't see it till years after it was already out on home video. So, but I do. I think Lou's partly right. People wanted to go see Jessica Rabbit, but also it was a bit of a technological achievement. That,
Yeah, it was.
I mean, they Disney had played around with this kind of live action real stuff before. This was the first one where it was nearly integrated with the animation. If you look back at Fantasia, for example, which came out in the 1940s, there are scenes with both Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse in the same scene, but they don't physically interact. And so they did play a little around a little bit with that concept for a while. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, I think, is another good example, which I think came out in the 60s, where they were messing around a little bit with animation and live action. But Who Framed Roger Rabbit was it was so seamlessly integrated. It was just a wonder to behold. And even looking back at it now, like I have a hard time seeing filmmakers today being able to replicate that.
Yeah. Hey, Nomi, have you seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I have not, but it's on my list.
Honestly, I think you would like it.
Okay.
I think, well, you would like Conan too, though.
I'll have to
You're
see.
popping sneaky.
I do have quite a few movies on my my notes here on my phone of what movies to watch. I put down Beetlejuice recently.
Hey, that's a good movie.
I've
And the
never
second
seen
one, and they're
Beetlejuice.
filming the second one too. So
But yeah. And then Conan's on here too because I wrote that down. But yeah, I have to catch up on a lot of things because I was left out on a lot of movies growing up.
Let me just ask you this. It'll be simpler. What have you seen?
yeah, and it's okay, Nomi. I mean, it's not like, because you got this look on your face like we're not trying to embarrass you.
No, it's okay. But I'm just like, what have I seen? Obviously, Lord of the Rings. I remember seeing Gremlins as a kid. I don't know if I shared this story. Maybe I have. But as growing up as kids, when my grandparents would take care of us, and it was all of my cousins, my brother, sister, and I, if we misbehave, my grandparents would lock us in a room, put on a movie, and that was our punishment. And it's a horror movie, so it was either Chucky or Gremlins or whatever horror movie you can think of.
Wait,
So that was our punishment, and we were locked in a room.
Hold on. First of all, I can't decide if that's like the easiest punishment ever or one of the fucking worst.
well, not every kid likes scary movies. I mean,
know, I did,
probably
so
trying
that
to
would
make
be
you have
fine with me.
nightmares.
But if she was like, if these were giving you nightmares, that's super fucked up.
I think it did, but I outgrew it, so it's just nothing scares me anymore because it was part of my life growing up. So I there's a lot of movies I haven't seen, and yeah, I can just say I haven't seen the classics. And let me tell you my list. Willow, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Crow, Dark City, Fifth Element, Tim Burton's Batman, Boondock Saints, Ghostbusters, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Beetlejuice, Conan the Barbarian. That's what I have written down right now.
I
Boondock
suggested
Saints.
like half of those.
Yeah. Boondock Saints is the only one on that list that I have not seen.
Okay.
Oh, you should see.
That's a good look. I mean, that's a good list. That's a very good list.
Okay.
Tim Burton's Batmans are dark like the ones that Christopher Nolan did.
They are and they aren't. They're a little camp too, but in a good way.
Yeah, the first Batman, the 1989 one with Jack Nicholson, boy, he killed that role. With he was the Joker. He killed that role. He did so well that nobody thought that anybody would ever be able to repeat that performance. But in my opinion, Heath Ledger killed it.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was ever a worthy successor, it was Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Now, Heath Ledger was really good in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He's been.
I like
Heath
Joaquin
Ledger
Phoenix's take on it too.
Right. Heath Ledger was one of those actors who a lot of people assumed that he was getting by on his looks because he was a very pretty man. But if you actually watch him in all of his movies, even the shitty like teenage, heartthrob bullshit that he made his name on, honestly, he's very good. He was always very good. People talk about that, the Joker being a stand-up performance, but I think that in a lot of cases they haven't seen a larger portion of his work. He was in a TV show on Fox called Roar that was canceled before the first season was over, about Celts and the Roman occupation of the British Isles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lou, yeah, that was Jack Nicholson that said this town needs an enema.
Yeah, that was Jack Nicholson. But like, as much as I don't like the movie, him and Gyllenhaal's performances in Brokeback Mountain were stellar. The movie just like, whatever. But in terms of story and plot and all that stuff, but their performances were really good. He was in this Australian movie a while back with Brian Brown from the FX fame. And I just realized you guys probably don't know the FX movies. You should look those up. They're awesome. It's about a guy who is a special effects artist who is using his tricks of his trade to fight crime. Good stuff. Anyway, it's a crime drama called Two Hands, where he has to settle the debt of his deceased brother with the Australian mob. And it was really, really good. And it was one of the few things that he did that most people in the States don't know about, because it came out before he was really widely known here. Kind of thing. But Heath Ledger is one of those guys, though. He's like, pay attention to him, because every performance he puts in is a damn good one. He was even in that did you guys see 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys do know that that's just an updated version of The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare.
Yeah,
right?
everybody did. Well, at least I did.
Yeah, but he was good in that. Other actors in it less so, but he was really good in it. So yeah, he was a good actor. It's a shame he's gone.
Yeah, and he did well. Knight's Tale. I mean, Knight's Tale is one of my. It's also one of my favorite Heath Ledger movies.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack. Great plot. It was simple. It was a simple plot, and it worked.
Yeah, he was in a horror movie with Mark Addy and Shannon Sossman, who were both in A Knight's Tale with him, opposite Peter Weller, who plays RoboCop, called The Order. It was about Catholic priests and about a secret cult.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was offbeat and obscure, but it was good. Yep, JV knows what I'm talking about. So, if it hasn't become apparent, Nomi, I watched a lot of movies.
I kind of picked up on that. Yes. Yeah.
I can't remember real people that I know, their faces or their names half the time, like 10 seconds after I meet them. But I have this like weird ability to just remember all this shit about a dude's career in film. I don't know why.
Sounds like you're passionate about movies.
It's just one of those things. Like, it's always been like that. So as a little kid, I don't know why. Half the things I read stay with me forever. But real interactions with real people, I don't care that much about. On average. Not saying I don't love you guys, I do, but
Just tell us how you really feel.
There are people I've worked with for like the last 4 years. I have no fucking idea what their names are.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sure they've told me, probably more than once. Yeah.
They just gave up on. Oh man, look. You know what? Let's just get some name tags so that he, so Samuel.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, you.
Hello. Yeah.
How are you?
Like, how are you doing?
That's a good question.
Like, hey, yeah, Sam. What's my name? It's you.
Yeah. That's a good question. What you guys feel like answering that? Because I think that's a great question.
What's the first movie you remember watching? Ooh.
I have to think back on it.
The Wiz, I think.
That was a good one.
I know that the Goofy movie was my first theater experience as a kid. That was my first movie theater movie. But as far as like home movie, VHS. I can't. I don't know. I would
Yeah.
remember.
The first movie I watched, I have no idea what that was. But the first one I remember watching, I watched Jaws obviously when I was 3. I don't remember that first experience. I'm going off of what my parents told me and the fact that I've seen it 100,000 times. But the first movie I remember watching, I was about 4.5 years old, was An American Werewolf in London.
Woo!
And I love that one too.
You're a brave man to be young. But then again, I watched American Werewolf in London when I was little too.
Yeah, it was one of those things though where my mom started to realize that horror movies bothered her a hell of a lot more than they bothered her very young son.
Blue Sand Monster Squad 1984. I've never heard of that one.
Oh, you haven't seen Monster? Oh man, it's like it's like Universal Monsters meets the Goonies. It's a lot of fun.
Oh snap! Okay.
Yeah, I'd recommend that one. That's a lot of fun. The guy who plays Dracula in it is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Hey Nomi, you should add the Goonies to your list.
I think I remember seeing the Goonies, but I can't. I'll just do it.
The funny thing is too is that I could see you as being a character in the Goonies.
Why is that?
Like if it was real, I could just see certain things. I could see you being a good fit in those situations. Like I think you think fast enough that you probably would have helped them kids make it out of there alive.
You're probably right. And also, I pack heat, so
Yeah. And you got a pretty mean Sparta kick.
I do have a pretty mean Sparta kick, and people do catch these hands particularly sometimes if they cross me. So yeah, I'm not afraid to throw hands either.
John Hughes directed it, huh? Well, he definitely
No, it's I think Joker's exaggerating. Says if it was directed by John Hughes, I don't think that's 100% accurate. I'd say probably more.
Night Carey.
If it was directed by Ivan Reitman than John Hughes, but yeah, have a good night, Carrie. Thanks for hanging.
Bye.
So we'll talk to you soon. And also, Suka says that the first movie he remembers was Ninja Turtles and Vanilla Ice was singing Ninja Rap. That was the second one, The Secret of the Ooze. Yeah.
Go
Ninja, go Ninja, go Ninja,
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That was a great fucking scene. I don't care how cheesy it is.
Yeah, it was. It was.
You know, people give Vanilla Ice a lot of crap, but man, that guy could entertain like nobody's business.
Did you ever see his Suge Knight story?
I had a long time ago, I think. Yeah.
So no, if you you know who Suge Knight is, right?
No.
So he's currently incarcerated, so it's safe to talk about him. But he was the owner of Death Row Records back in the '90s. So Snoop Dogg was signed to him, Tupac was signed to him, Dr. Dre
yes.
was.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Vanilla Ice did an interview years ago. So I think I want to say it was like in the early 2000s, and he was talking about how he got a visit from Suge, and Suge was famous for showing up at your house with a bunch of his homies, 20 deep, and strongly suggesting that you sign over rights to your songs. And he paid Vanilla Ice a visit, and he said that Vanilla Ice said that his goons grabbed him and walked him out over the balcony of his hotel with Suge, and they hung him over the balcony. And Suge said, "You are either gonna sign this contract, handing us over the rights to your songs, or my man here is gonna let go."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Yeah, I signed it and I lived." Well, sometime after that, they the same station interviewed Suge Knight, and he's like, "I don't know what the hell he's talking about. That never happened." And then maybe about a month later, they interviewed Vanilla Ice again, and he retracted everything he said. Not only did he retract it, but he flat out lied and said that he never said that in the interview, like just flat out lied. So I'm guessing he must have got paid another visit.
No.
Most likely, yeah, because Suge Knight never publicly admitted to anything that he did, but
but the stories, like
Yeah.
Bill Bellamy's got stories. Like you go on YouTube and type up Suge Knight stories, and you'll see all kinds of stuff popping up about him. I think he was heading up to Source Awards one year, and he was jacking all the rappers for their jewelry. So he sat outside, had a box, and was jacking them all for their jewelry.
Clue. The judge that would let that contract go through is one who's being paid to do so.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. Yeah. Paid or threatened into it. Probably paid because that'd be easiest.
Yeah. But maybe not so well because the man is sitting in jail right now. So
Yeah, but he did a lot of shit. So.
yeah, he got away with a whole lot of stuff. I mean, his probation, his probation for kicking that guy, and that was a probation violation, and just all the other, like you said, all the other stuff that he was doing, that he was getting away with, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Yep. The entertainment industry is brutal and dirty. That it is.
That it is. Yes, it is.
That it is. So, Larry,
Yes.
I believe you had some things on Shark Week. Did you not?
I did. In fact, see, I'm gonna share my screen for a second. So I know that we were talking about cocaine sharks. So this is a clip from the. Now, granted, I haven't watched it yet, but this is a clip from the cocaine sharks documentary that they did. Click this on, span this, and let's watch.
Whoa, hammerhead right there.
Now, do you want me to turn off? Because I don't know if that's copyrighted music.
No, I go ahead and drop it like a little bit, but I don't. I think we're probably all right for sound. I don't know.
So he's saying that.
The-
Yeah, it is a hammerhead.
Whoa, straight in, hey fella. Our bubbles usually scare hammers off.
I don't know.
Now look at his eyeball. This N-word is high as hell. Look at that.
Yeah, he does look a little out of sorts, and I would also wager that the reason with the bubble scaring him off probably has to do with all those little sensors, electro sensors that you mentioned in the quiz earlier.
Right.
It probably messes with them. I know that hammerheads, like the front of their heads, is more sensitive than most sharks' noses, probably because it's chock full of sensors.
Yeah, but I mean, dang it. I mean, just how much are you sensing though when your eyeball looks like that?
Yeah, for real. You're blitzed out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks he doesn't look high though, like in a cocaine sense. He looks stoned. He looks like he's only sort of aware of where he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? If you really look, he doesn't even look like he. Once I play it, you'll see it. But he doesn't even look like he's floating straight. It's like he's kind of tilted.
I think he became self-aware that he's a shark.
He must have, because man.
So coming right up on us, that's unusual.
I'm sorry, but
That's a good size one too.
behavior. They've got that huge, wide head up front, allows them to detect prey, then having eyes way out on the.
now you're gonna tell me that shark don't look like he high off his mind.
I've seen some shit.
Swimming under the influence. I think that's a misdemeanor. Because he doesn't have the. I mean, how they gonna get the evidence? So he ain't got no powder on his nose or nothing. I mean, he can just be like, you call you racist? Just this white powder. It's my skin, damn it.
He's really so out there where he's like, have you ever realized if you're stuck in traffic, you are in traffic? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, D-Day Direwolf. That one actually has been on my list for a while. I haven't gotten around to actually watching that yet, but that is the plan.
Because I think there's a part 2 also.
There's like 4 or 5 of them now. I'd probably only watch the first one. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch the first one. If it's good, I'll like it and all that. But I don't know if I'm gonna go on with the sequels.
Listen,
The Jaws sequels have diminishing returns too. So
Lou said major side eye.
She
Yep.
did.
Yeah.
Side that gives them panoramic vision, makes them incredible hunters.
He look high too, talking like that. Oh, a little fish
You
floating.
notice how she's swimming?
Yeah, it looks like she's slightly on the one side, almost like she's weighted down. She's not quite level. Now that is unusual. Could be a past injury, or maybe a chemical imbalance.
It's not
Either
unusual
way,
if you're high.
something to know.
Yeah.
No,
for
it's not at
sure.
all. I mean, that's no different than somebody stumbling around.
Yeah, that's not unusual at all if you're high. Like, you know how you get drunk and you feel like one leg is longer than the other, so you end up like stumbling in circles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I usually am when I am drunk, and I just usually blurt out like, "I'm not drunk. I'm an American," and then continue on with my day.
And then you go around telling people to vote for Joe Biden.
That was one time. No, never do it again.
And then you Sparta kick somebody on your way out. Boom! Vote
It
for
takes a
Biden.
lot for me to get violent. I don't want to say get violent, but yeah,
You know that
violent.
that shark tilted on its side though. That's obviously it's not in its best self, because it's fun fact about sharks is they're the only kind of fish that doesn't have an air bladder or a float bladder, which allows them to stay afloat no matter what. So if they stop swimming, not only do they drown because they can't draw in the water through their gills just by sucking it in. They've got to like swim through it to make that happen. But they also will sink if they stop swimming.
All the way.
That explains why they've got so much muscle. It's hard to be a shark, man.
Yeah, they have to swim even when they're sleeping.
Yeah. And they're never truly completely asleep. It's like
no, because everybody's trying to eat them still.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is a real photo. This is a photo of a shark trying to get his hand on some cocaine. Well, I guess kind of did. But I'm wondering if it's shark pounces on one of the bales of cocaine, quote, dropped into the water off the Florida Keys, and cocaine sharks. So it's probably not real.
Well, I mean, even if look, sharks will eat literally anything. They are not at all picky about what they feed on. Most of the time when they can't digest stuff, they do what we discussed earlier. They turn their stomachs inside out and it just floats away. But there's kind of got to be a lot of indigestible shit in them for them to do that. Like I said, they did find a tiger shark once with a complete suit of armor in it. French, I think the armor was. Might be wondering.
I was going to say, and then sharks can live up to like what, over 100 years old?
Some species can live up to 250 years old. Obviously, the Greenland shark is probably immortal. It just depends on the shark. But yeah, odds are what happened was that it probably ate it from some kind of wrecked vessel. A ship that had sank that would have been transporting it. That's pretty funny.
I like how its lips just get enlarged.
Look at those eyeballs, they're just popping out, they're bugging out.
It's
like, oh, I'm so fucking high.
Like that hammerhead.
Who was it that, because I never done cocaine, but like, who was it that said that cocaine smells like diesel?
Wasn't that Kohai? I think that was Kohai, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Kohai. It depends on the quality, honestly.
I wouldn't know.
No. Not that I would know either. YouTube, don't do drugs, kids. But yeah, it depends on the quality and whether or not it's cut, and if it is cut, what it's cut with. But yeah, sometimes there can be kind of a fuelish kind of smell to it. It's mild though. I mean, it's like it's not. It's not like you're standing out on a fuel island at a truck stop or anything like that. It's not that strong.
Okay.
Yeah. Now here's something I thought that would interest you guys is so I actually saw this the other day, and it looks like because of hurricanes and things like that, scientists are actually looking at technology. They want to use sharks. They want to use sharks for, I guess, tracking?
Well, their
Keeping an eye on
electrical,
it.
yeah,
Right.
their electrical systems that are built into them, like we were discussing in the quiz earlier, that would make them ideal for that sort of thing. You know, it's almost like radar without radar.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is while sharks are smart for fish, their brains are not particularly. Let me put it this way: their brains are developed for very specific functions.
Oh yeah.
Right, very, very specific functions, and
Kill, eat, survive.
one of those is not like critical thinking. You know, um,
Well,
so
it
yeah,
makes you wonder how reliable they think the shark's gonna be, because I mean sharks will travel great distances to go eat. I mean they, you know,
right.
so
Well, they know
like
they can train them to do simple tasks. That's been proven. You know, the one exception to that would be great whites. They've never been able to keep a great white in captivity and alive at the same time for very long. Um,
yeah,
it's something about captivity that just breaks the fucking things. They just give up and die. But there are other sharks, bull sharks, makos. They've been working with, you know, that they have, especially makos. Makos seem to be one of the brightest species in terms of like Pavlovian learning and that kind of thing. So they have been training them to do simple tasks, you know, like fetch and retrieve kind of shit. Um, so they know that can be done. The problem is that like dolphins, we can kind of communicate with, right? Which is part of the reason that they train them for like search and rescue and bomb retrieval and that kind of thing, which is a little more complicated than what they're asking of sharks. We know that some sharks are not stupid exactly, but the way they think is foreign to us, like alien, right? And there's really no way we can't tame them. That's not possible. You know, so I suppose what they're talking about here isn't so much. Now I just read the headline over again. Yeah, that's not even what they're talking about at all. They're talking about just tracking sharks because they will behave differently near storms.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, they wouldn't necessarily be training them; they'd just be pinging them with trackers, like
yeah,
tagging
they're
them.
just gonna put trackers on them,
Mhm.
you know. But it's still for me, and then maybe it's a stupid question: is how you gonna make the shark go left if it's going right? You know what I mean? Like you're pinging these sharks, hoping that they will go in a direction that you want them to go in.
Well, no, this is basically what they're doing. They're doing here with the same thing that a lot of you know, weather watchers and stuff will pay attention to the local wildlife and how they behave when a storm is coming in. That's all they're doing here is they put the tracker on the shark. All it does is tell you where the shark is and what like which direction it's going. It does not influence which direction the shark chooses to go. But I think what they're indicating is that you know, the shark's behavior would give some indication as to where a storm is going. You know, because they will, you know, you know, like a hurricane affects so many atmospheres below the surface of the water as well. So, you know, they want to avoid that. So if they're doing that, and they can probably sense where it's going to go before you can see it on land or above the surface rather. Knowing where the shark is going to be probably key in predicting which way the storm is going to go, which will tell you where you need to evacuate and where you don't. Which is what it looks like they're doing here.
Okay, well, let's check.
Night, Joker.
Bye, JD.
Bye, JV. You know, fish are running. They're like, hell no.
Well,
Looks like
there's
a
a
bull shark.
yeah, there's a theory that sharks also project kind of an EM field, you know, a limited EM field, like an aura around their bodies.
Well, it looks like he's not having. Oh, he got one.
Yeah. All right. Good night, Luke Astley. Thank you for
Hey, Luke.
being here.
Bye, Lou. Able to
So
get a
that
snack.
yeah. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought, but There was a novel I read when I was a kid. I wish I could remember the name of it. It took place in the Florida Keys, and it was about an experimental group of makos who were genetically engineered to be, 20 feet long, which, by the way, is huge for a great white. you know, and to basically they had parts of dolphin DNA spliced into them so that they hunted as a pack.
Oh wow.
And not
That's
singularly.
scary.
And they were designed for like military shit, kind of thing. But they were smart sharks, like smart like dolphins or people. And of course, they get out and start eating people along the Florida Keys and all that stuff. It was an interesting idea. Cross splicing the kinds of thing. I mean, it would never work because dolphins are mammals and sharks are fish. But it was an interesting idea. Hunger was the name of the book. I can't remember the author. Good book. I think I read that when I was in like 6th grade.
Yeah. I'll have to check out that book. In the meantime, apparently Shark Week has been around for 35 years.
Wow.
35 years. And Nomi, I'm sure as you know, every year they get somebody famous to host Shark Week. Wasn't it like 2 years ago? Wasn't it Mike Tyson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then this year it was, who was it last year?
I don't remember. I didn't actually catch it last year.
Yeah. And this year is Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, or Jason Mimosa, as he's often called.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's been harder and harder to keep up with Shark Week ever since I cut the cable cord.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
But I've never really followed Shark Week.
I used to do it religiously.
Yeah, didn't care much about it.
I can't wait. This is one of the great things about Shark Week are all the great white breaching videos that come out.
Oh, I bet.
Because those fuckers will fly 20 feet straight up into the air.
I know. I've seen videos.
Yeah.
I know what sharks are.
Did you see that one of that seagull that didn't learn his lesson and kept teasing that great white?
Yeah.
Like it kept flying, flying out of the water. It kept jumping like straight up trying to eat him, and he was just joking around. And I think he did it like twice, right? And then the third time the shark got him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw one too where there was a sea lion and he was on some rocks that were near the water, but they weren't like quite in the water, and he was just doing, sea lions do their thing. They're just like, arr, arr. Yeah, and great whites eat sea lions. And this great white was just sitting there waiting for him to come in, and eventually he lost fucking patience and he launched his entire fucking 16-foot self up onto the rocks and nailed that fucking sea lion. And then spent the next like half a day trying to get back into the water because he was stranded up there.
All that muscle, you would think he could have rolled himself off.
Right. They're not really designed to move on land. So he's like, I'm going to get that fucking sea lion. But like I said, the brains are very specialized, and he was not thinking past, I'm going to get that fucking sea lion. He's like, fuck, I'm up here now. What am I gonna do?
I got the sea lion. He's like, man, that damn sea lion was good, man. That blubber, man. Shoot, that was good steak. And he's like, wait a minute, how the hell am I gonna go up?
Seal blubber is pretty good, is what I've been told.
From what I understand, the shark did eventually make it back into the water, but it was like inching kind of thing, like had to sort of flop its way over, like a fish, like a big fucking like 8,000-pound fish,
like a beached whale that it is.
Yeah.
He must have jumped like deep onto the rocks.
No, not particularly. It's just like I said, they're not really designed to like roll or crawl or anything like that. They don't have that capability.
So this was this was the commercial with Jason Momoa. So it's definitely, you can't play it because I can play it, but the sound has to be turned off because it is definitely copyrighted music. It's like classical, the whole Mozart, the da-da-da-da. That's what he's doing, and there's great whites like jumping out of the water when he gives them the signal.
Yeah, well, I'm sure like these little videos, he's been promoting this pretty heavily all week, and the last 2 weeks actually.
Yeah.
So these are all over the internet. So yeah, you guys watching in the chat and all that stuff, we probably won't play those because they do tend to like throw a lot of copyrighted shit at you. But it's not hard. Just type in Shark Week, 2023, it'll come up. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and this is and don't worry, guys, we got more stuff. I just wanted to show this is what they have for the whole week. So apparently, Jaws versus the Meg was Sunday. Belly of the Beast, Feeding Frenzy, Jaws versus the Meg, Serial Killer, Red Sea Attacks, Shark Week, Off the Hook, and they went all the way down. So, I mean, they really. And I'm wondering, are any of these are any of these you know re-releases, or are they all brand new?
I'd imagine after 35 years, they probably have recycled some content. That would be my guess. As to
Jaws
which
in the
is
Shallows.
well, even when you're talking about like the videos where they talk about people, because occasionally they'll feature a scientist or a fisherman who, in particular, who has a shark expertise, and sometimes they'll use a lot of like old stock footage that has been used before and all that stuff just to talk about that person's story. With the shark attack stuff, usually they'll have. That doesn't happen nearly as often as people assume that it does. So there are only so many things you can show about that. That exist. I mean, obviously people get attacked by sharks occasionally, but it's still pretty fucking rare.
True by comparison.
Well, we're not. It's like take surfers for instance. Surfers and boogie boarders are usually among the highest types of people in the water to get attacked, and that's because that surfboard or that boogie board, when they're laying down and they got all their limbs out and they're paddling along or whatever, it makes them look like fucking seals
That makes
from
sense.
underneath, and that's why
Yeah.
they get attacked, because sharks eat seals.
Right.
So if it's just a person floating in the water, a shark might get curious to come find out what you are. You might get nibbled a little bit if you're not careful, but generally speaking, they don't come after people because we don't smell right and we're not shaped right. They don't recognize us as food. They recognize us as foreign objects, and they might get curious about what that object is, because sharks do get curious about stuff. But most of the
I saw a
time,
video earlier of a hammerhead heading straight for a guy, and it was a fish floating around. And this guy, in his infinite wisdom, thought it was a good idea to get in the water to try to save the fish from this hammerhead. Well, the hammerhead launched straight toward him, and then when it got right up on him, because the guy had turned around, which was another mistake, and basically gave his back to that hammerhead, and that sucker launched at him like a torpedo. And as it got closer, for some reason, it stopped and turned, and it just lost its interest in him.
yeah, that's because it came over to find out what it was that was in front of it, what had come into its field of sensory, its sensory range, because it didn't understand what it was looking at. So it got closer to find out, is this food? Is it not food? That doesn't look like food. I'm going to go over here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm a munch on it.
yeah, so I figured this video got some shark research from the University of Florida. Let's see if he knows more than you, Sam.
Probably.
I'll just mute that a little bit.
My research group, we study sharks and rays. These are really unusual animals because they've been around for a long time. The lineage leading to sharks and rays is about 400 million years old.
400 million years old. Look at all these down.
Mm-hmm.
The rows of teeth, man.
And these animals have persisted for all that time. Yet they have a bunch of traits which makes them seem as if they should not be around.
The hell are in
They
those
live a long
jars?
time. They don't have many
Babies?
offspring.
Yeah.
They take a long time to mature.
Organs.
And so they don't regenerate themselves very quickly. Yet, in
It looks
spite
like
of
squid and all
those
kinds of stuff.
attributes,
Octopus.
they persisted. And in my group, we try to learn about these animals using genetic information. And so one of the things that we do is we compare DNA sequences. and closely related species have similar DNA.
What do you think about that, Samuel?
I mean, I don't think he's saying anything that anybody who has any basic understanding of DNA doesn't already know.
I guess so. Tell me.
Um, I
I was asking for comment. I just want to make sure you were awake.
no, I'm awake. I was just kind of looking at a text message, but
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry, though. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I definitely
it's
did not mean to
okay.
put you on the spot.
But yeah, I don't know.
It's all science.
Yeah, it is all science, but yes, it's kind of creepy to know that sharks have been around for more than over 400 years, or yeah, 400 million. Yeah, 400 million years is kind of wild to me.
Let me put it in perspective. The general consensus is that the dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago. The dinosaurs have been around over 330 million years, longer than that.
So sharks and megalodons apparently were real sharks.
They were.
Yeah.
There is no current evidence that is provable at this time that there are still megalodons alive, but they're not sure. They haven't been able to prove it one way or the other.
We just know that they've been around.
Have more distant
Mhm.
DNA. So by comparing DNA sequences, we can essentially reconstruct a phylogeny or an evolutionary tree or a pedigree of who is related to who. That tells us how these animals have managed to make a living over the past 400 million years.
I don't know if I like the sound of that. That doesn't. It sounds to me like they're doing more than what he's saying.
Like they're Jurassic Park in this bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, we just want to find out how they were living. Well, why don't you look at the current sharks? They were floating in water. They were
Yeah.
floating in the water, killing and eating stuff.
Well, because the current sharks, are kind of uncooperative.
You can't take my blood. I won't let you. Arr.
We also use DNA sequence information for other things.
Like what?
We
though?
can use DNA in the same way as 23andMe does to understand how these animals move. People that get their 23andMe evaluated find out perhaps that they've got 5% African genes and 4% Swedish genes.
Okay.
So they're essentially finding out where these genes or these alleles come from.
I don't buy that either. And that's nice. It just seems like he's reaching. It's no different than 23andMe. Like, no, you guys are in there gene splicing and playing God.
They might be doing the gene splicing and shit, man, but they
They're not gonna
as
tell
far
us
as far as the tracking, like where a species has come from and all that and where they've been, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's honestly, it's no different than the 23andMe shit. We know also that the people doing 23andMe are up to some shady fucking shit too.
that. Oh yeah, yeah. Which is
But
why I don't
it doesn't make their analysis less accurate.
Right.
We can do the same thing with sharks. We can detect when they move. We can see the genetic information that we see in some of these animals may originate from a different part of the world. And this tells us how they've moved from one place to another. So we're essentially using the DNA in both these circumstances as a device, as a marker, if you will, a little tag to tell us about their evolutionary history and about their movements. Each person's genome.
Real quick, clue 23andMe is like it's like when you spit in a little vial and you send it off, and then they send it back and they tell you where all your different parts come from, like specifically how much percentage you have of DNA from, like say, Kenya, and how much from like Honolulu, and how much from like Beijing. Just it basically it reads about your ancestry through your DNA, through your genetic information. A lot of people have been doing it lately. The problem is that it's funded primarily by backers of the WEF, and I think that they are collating genetic information, but that's me.
I don't think that's just you though. I think a lot of people are seeing that. I feel
Yeah.
a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
I never used it, so I was like,
Mhm.
all right.
It's
Okay,
like
they
a
can get my
time
DNA
machine
the old-fashioned way. Ha
has
ha ha.
information in it which records not only their individual history, but the history of their lineage.
The
And
history of
buried
their
in this
lineage.
time capsule is a whole host of information. And with the whole genome information, we can detect when populations were smaller, when they were
They were
larger,
smaller because
and we can
megalodons were
also
eating
detect
them.
historical migration events. So
See,
my research group looks at DNA.
I get, your reservations about them fucking around with DNA, and I'm on board with you there. But there is a certain appeal to me to finding out like the histories of specific lineages of sharks. Like I like the idea of some of this research. There is an appeal in it for me. Um, I'm less obviously excited about them like splicing giant super sharks. That would not be good or ideal, and who knows what they're doing. But as far as just the researching, like the history and the migration patterns and that sort of thing, like I'm on board with that part.
This
That's
is
all I
all
had.
scary.
sequence information to reconstruct all sorts of attributes about these animals, their evolutionary history, their movements,
Their
their
bodies.
historical changes in population size, their historical changes in movements. And we can correlate these estimates of what they did with environmental changes. Now, the world is going through a lot of environmental change right now. And if we know how they responded to past environmental influences, then we can get a much better idea about how animals will respond to future changes.
Okay, so he's like most of the people in these kinds of spheres. He's on board with the climate change bullshit.
Yeah.
As far as
Definitely is.
finding out how they responded to climate changes in the past, that would be interesting. Climates do change. They change constantly. We're not going through a lot of fucking climate change. We're just going through climate change like we always have.
Yeah.
Shit changes. The second it becomes static, we become Mercury, as in dead.
Mm-hmm.
So like you want a static climate, look at fucking Mars. That you don't want that. Climates need to change. You need to breathe. They do all of this without the hubris or the interference of a species that has gotten too big for its fucking britches and its own self-esteem. But I would wager, because sharks have been around as a species for so long, and I would probably imagine that some of them come from nearly unbroken lines for over 400 million years. Can you imagine what we would fucking learn if we figure out like everywhere they've been, like how much of their DNA had been altered by the various things they've been through? Like there have been ice ages where over 30 to 40% of the fucking surface of the earth was covered in ice. Right now we're only at 10. Like it just, some of that strikes me as fucking neat as hell.
And they survived all that.
Mhm.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, Clue. It cools, it warms up, it cools, it warms up. It's just like sometimes it does it to a greater or lesser degree. They're freaking out over some bullshit. They're not actually freaking out. They're trying to get us to freak out and buy into it. You remember not that long ago, they said we were all going to be underwater because all the ice caps were going to fucking melt. Before that, it was acid rain.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, it was, the whole world's going to freeze over in the 70s. Yeah, global cooling was the thing. I know Clue knows this, but he, probably remembers that. But it's always something gets you in a panic, and it's always somehow mankind's fucking fault.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many times did you, like, Nomi, you might be a little too young to remember the acid rain scare of the 80s, but Larry, I'm sure you remember. How many
I
times did
remember
you
that.
actually see acid rain on footage or in person?
None.
Right? It was just something they told you was happening, but nobody ever saw this shit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I remember myself and all the kids, when we were hearing this stuff, we were laughing because they actually thought that we were stupid enough to believe that, and we were like, we're kids, and even we don't believe this mess.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think a lot of them believe it. I think that it's just it's a control measure.
Yep,
So
it certainly is. But that said, the climate does change. It has never been 100% stable, and it would be, because we know that there are certain events that happen at certain times in history. It would be kind of neat to find out where the sharks were at that time and what that could tell us about those periods.
yeah,
Just from a purely historical interest point of view.
Yeah.
So
you're 100 right, 100 right, 100% right.
Larry's tired.
But
he's leaving whole words out of his sentences.
yeah, I was just like, what the hell? But
Wake up.
no, I'm definitely up. But I will tell you this: the main thing that I learned about Shark Week, looking at this, is there's so much more information that I knew about, and a lot of it is just pointing at Shark Week being about entertainment, and a lot of words like misinformation and junk science was thrown around. But here's my question about that, though, is that the people who are making decisions as to what's junk science and what isn't, who made them the authority to make that decision?
Bingo.
Because we're still learning. You just saw we just saw with that one professor was saying, was saying they're still learning about sharks.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't. It just sounds to me like this guy is cloning sharks or gene splicing them or doing whatever to try to find out what they were doing millions of years ago. Okay, well, so what are you gonna do with this specimen once it's alive and you get whatever information you want? Now, what are you gonna do with it? Because you can't release it out to the wild. Who knows what it'll do to the ecosystem?
Yeah.
Roar!
I mean, if I were them, I'd probably chop it up and sell it to an Asian restaurant. But
Well, that's a huge trade. That's a huge thing. I know, like China catches these certain type of sharks for their fins, and they turn it into fin soup. And I know it's illegal. So I don't know which country it is that's been tracking down on poachers for these type of sharks.
do you know why they make them into fin soup? Like what the fin
can't-
soup is for?
I want to
I'm
say
scared to ask.
no. I know the answer, but I can't remember.
It's an aphrodisiac. It's supposed to keep your pencil sharp.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. I knew it had to do with something with like a guy.
They use ground up tiger penis for the same thing.
Yes, that's right.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, they have some funky ideas as to what's an aphrodisiac and what isn't over there. Kind of brings it to mind the fact that the word pharmacy comes from the Greek word pharmakeia, which means sorcery.
Yes, that one I do. That one I do know.
But yeah, it's I don't know. There's some interesting stuff out there. I love sharks. I think they're fascinating as hell. And what Larry was saying just a minute ago about how they're trying to figure out what they were thinking a million years ago, and they were not. They're still learning about them. And part of the reason for that is because we've only in the last century started to really learn about sharks. Prior to that, they were just monsters of the sea. We didn't know fuck all about their behaviors beyond them eating people or whatever else they came across, because we never encountered them except in dire situations like that, or when we were fishing them up or whatever. But nobody really knew that much about them until about midway through the last century, and to a lesser extent, certain naturalists towards the end of the 19th century. But like I've mentioned her before, Dr. Eugenie Clark is one of the more foremost ichthyologists specializing in sharks. In our history, if it weren't for that woman, we wouldn't know half as much as we do about sharks. Her and Jacques Cousteau, but her specifically, she was like the Diane Fossey of the shark world, except she didn't get murdered by poachers. So that's right. I could throw out a scientist name or two and some random facts about him.
I know things.
Yeah. I know stuff. But a lot of this is still new to us, generally speaking.
Half the ocean is still unexplored. Not half, but like 90% of the ocean is still unexplored. And that's a scary thing to think of.
Yeah, that's well, they don't know what's down there. They don't know what could possibly be capable of surviving down there. As far down as we've gone, we haven't even touched the very bottom of the ocean. We've only sounded it out. You know, there could very well be monstrous things beyond our fucking imagination that far down.
Oh, I believe it.
Things,
Yeah,
things
I
that
know what's down there.
things
I
that are
know exactly.
incapable. Let me finish my sentence. Things that are incapable
Anyway,
of rising to the surface because the pressure would, the lack of pressure, the decreased pressure would cause them to explode because they'd have to be super dense to be down there.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, I know exactly what's down there. Things we should stay the hell away from.
that is very true.
I mean, did you ever see that video? I think it was a few years ago where some Japanese divers, I guess I don't know if I don't think they were divers, but I think they sent a camera down all the way down to the deeper portion of the ocean. They came across this giant squid, like his eyes were the size of uh of dinner plates.
Yeah. Yep. It's
Yep.
they weren't particularly deep, and if I remember right, that particular squid was fairly sickly, because those the giant squid, the Architeuthis dux, which is the Latin name for the biggest of the species, they don't come up that close to the surface unless they're dying or dead. Unless something's wrong with them. Healthy ones, we've never seen a healthy one on camera, never, because they live too deep for us to go. We have seen evidence of them, like they've caught sperm whales and shit with like massive slashing suction marks, from huge tentacles on their bodies, like scars from fighting with the things. But we've never actually seen one that was healthy. The only reason we even know they fucking exist, honestly, is because sometimes, an 80-foot fucking squid will wash up on a beach.
Yep.
Yeah, dead, right?
Typically, yeah. And again, that a lot of they're designed to live at deeper pressures, right? So when they come up, it's like what the bends is, right?
Yeah. When you come up too quick, and it's that's a serious condition
Yeah.
too.
Imagine that.
That's one of the reasons why I decided never to go like snorkeling or diving.
Or on a cruise.
So yeah, but imagine now.
Wait, you can get the bends on a cruise.
You can get the bends if you dive down 20 feet and you come up too fast.
Yep.
Most of the time, it happens to people who are much, much deeper than that who come up too fast. But yeah, if you do it too fast, you can get it at a couple of atmospheres of pressure. But imagine then if your whole body was designed to withstand the deep pressures, what that would fucking feel like. It would feel like you were going to explode the closer you got to the surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they don't come up if they don't have to. All that, and furthermore, squid and other cephalopods like octopi, there's some thought that they may be nearly as intelligent as us, which poses some interesting questions.
Most definitely it does. That's why I want to stay away from that, because I don't want to poke that bear and awake something, or something come out of nothing in that deep blue sea, and we're all screwed.
No.
Boom. What a way to end the program. Any last comments?
No. I guess we're doing this now, so let's do this.
Well, I mean, it's not. I just put it up. I just put it up to have it ready. I wasn't trying to kill the conversation. Because now I'm really thinking about this giant squid. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
There's a book, a novel by Peter Benchley, the same man who wrote Jaws, which is what it was, a novel before it was a movie, called Beast or The Beast. I forget which. I think it's just Beast. Takes place in Bermuda, I want to say, or in and around Bermuda, because it does involve some Bermuda Triangle like lore and whatnot. But it's about a giant squid attacking ships and sailors and people on cruises and shit like that. Good book. No, just putting that out there. Check it out there, because it is a creature in that book anyway with a kind of malevolent intelligence to it.
it's just here's the thing though. Anything that would attack a whale, you think you're safe on a boat or a ship?
Yeah, let alone sperm whales, right? You know, together their testicles weigh a metric ton.
What?
That's why they're called sperm whales, because they have gigantic testicles and they gang rape their females.
He must be proud.
You know, but that's why they call them sperm whales. They're chock full of testosterone, and they're one of the most aggressive whale species.
How much you want to bet somebody has tried to get a syringe and extract some of that to make some kind of I mean, who knows what older men have swallowed
Tried
in those.
nothing. They've absolutely done that. They were hunting those nearly to extinction throughout the fucking 17 and 1800s for that reason. Also, there's a lot of meat on a sperm whale that you can feed people with, but whale
Just
blubber,
makes you
that kind of
wonder
thing.
what I mean with today's technology. They've definitely. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that they've harnessed something from whale testosterone.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a lot of testosterone. You think about these things. The sperm whale is the third largest whale species on fucking planet Earth. They're predatory. They're not like the other large species that have kind of those filters that they eat microscopic creatures with. These are full on predatory animals. They eat big things. They kill and they hunt. And they're chock full of testosterone. I mean, one testicle is probably almost as big as the room I'm fucking sitting in. You know,
Yeah.
they're they're on
I mean,
hyper aggression
I
all the
get it.
time. You know, and so yeah, they I mean, there's been stories of sperm whales attacking ships too. You know,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, and people been getting. Oh no, man. And people like Nomi like to get on these cruises. You know, Nomi's gonna get on that floating island that they're calling a ship next. You know, she's gonna do that.
yeah, I got a friend on her way to Cozumel right now to go snorkeling.
Well, it's funny because my friends and I, we had lunch the other day. We were talking about our next cruise. Is like, can we do something that's landlocked instead? Not because I'm afraid of the ocean. I just got severely sick. Motion
Yeah.
sickness.
Yep.
Yeah, the last time I was on a boat, and I've been on a boat before, gone fishing and everything, but I went to Catalina Island, and we flew there by helicopter and came back by boat. I wasn't on that boat. I was on that boat less than 5 minutes, and I was as soon as we started moving, I just got sick.
Yep.
I feel like I was gonna throw up, but I couldn't. I felt like I had a headache, but it was just crazy, almost like I had a fever, and I was laying on the floor on the boat underneath one of the tables, and I was like that all the way back until we stopped and docked. And my mother and my stepfather had to help me stand up, and once we stopped, I was fine. But once we started moving, mm-mm.
You want that Rockstar suite on Virgin Cruise Lines?
You can have it, Clue.
All you, bud.
Oh, did you hear about the cruise? The cruise from I think it was last week. Their engines failed and they had to be towed. And I think it was a I think it was either I don't think it was a Royal Caribbean. No, it wasn't Royal. But I want to say it was a Carnival, and their engines failed and they had to be towed.
That sounds like a Carnival cruise line.
Hmm.
Because Carnival is the cruise line for like broke college students and people with families, like large families, and they want to like have
Getting the fights.
five kids come with them. So yeah, and then get into fights as well.
That's stupid.
Yeah, so that's why I want to try either a Royal Caribbean or a Princess cruise line.
I think you like Princess better because doesn't Royal Caribbean have certain rules like they have to captain's dinner and you have to be there and you have to be dressed up.
Yeah, I mean, we had to do that for Carnival as well. We had to be dressed up on some of the nights.
What happens if you don't do it?
I know that was my first cruise. I wouldn't know. But yeah, like I took 2 or 3 dresses on the cruise with me because there was 3 fancy nights that you had to dress up, but I didn't bring fancy shoes. I'm like, it's a cruise. I'm not going to bring heels. So I just wore my Vans because, punk rock forever. And I just wore them with my dresses and made it work. Didn't get told anything. So as long as they weren't sandals, I think that's what it was. That you'd be able to join dinner if it wasn't sandals.
So I was under the impression. I always thought that, like, I'll use Royal Caribbean for example. I always thought that maybe they had somebody going door to door, making sure everybody came out, you know, and actually participated in the captain's dinner. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
they don't let you. Maybe they don't let you in to eat unless you're dressed up.
I wouldn't know because I don't know the rules at all. Because there was definitely some dinner nights where I showed up like bikini top and my my surfing shorts and my flip flops, and that's how I had dinner. No one told me any different. And then there was nights I had to wear a dress and do my hair and do my makeup. It's like, okay, all right, that's weird rules, but I'll have to follow. I just want to eat. That's all I care for.
I mean, it sounds like they're trying to. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I I've always been interested in going on a cruise, as you know. It's just every time I look up, and it's always Caribbean. It's not. It's. I mean, it's always Carnival. Um, Royal Caribbean. I know they have their moments, their deals, and things that go on, but nowhere near like Carnival. Every time I
Yeah,
look up, it's either the engines break down or they hit the dock. Majority of the time is people getting drunk and getting into fist fights. You know,
I can't remember if I saw any fights, but I definitely, my friend and I helped a woman that got stuck in the elevator. Yeah, so the elevators on Carnival were sketchy as hell. Like that was my one major complaint about the cruise, that they took forever and the doors were sketchy because they would like open and then they close instantly and then like try to open again. So that was my major complaint. But yeah, I didn't see any fights. Everybody was very chill with each other. Got several free drinks for free. Um, yeah, that happens when you just lay out on the deck, minding your own business, and a guy mistakes you for someone named Samantha and buys you all the drinks that you want. Had to tell him the truth. My name's not Samantha, so yeah. So
wait,
anything
wait,
can
wait.
happen.
Okay, so this is interesting. So, Emmett, so this guy walks up to you and thinks that you're some lady named Samantha.
I wouldn't call it walk up next to me. I would say literally me just laying on the deck, getting some sun, minding my own business until a server comes over. She's like, "Hi, what would you like to drink?" Like, "Oh, I didn't order anything, but thank you." And she's like, "Oh no, there's someone at the bar that wants to pay for your drinks." It's like, okay, this is the first, but I was so basic and I didn't know what to drink and I had to think of something on the spot. I was like, all right, strawberry daiquiri. And he bought me several drinks. And I was like, I have to know who this person is buying me the drinks. And I asked her about it and she pointed him out. I'm like, I've never met this guy. I've never seen him before in my life. And then I went over to say thank you because be polite. Someone
Right.
buy me drinks. And he's like, oh yeah, like I had a fun time talking to you. And it was a good night doing trivia. I was like, I've done trivia, but like, I don't remember talking to this guy at all. And I was sober because I didn't drink at all until that time he was buying me drinks. So I'm thinking long and hard about it. Is like, when did I meet this guy? And he was talking to me as if we've met before. We were like he was chatting with me, like he knew me. And then he finally said, he's like, well, Samantha, like, I really hope that I could get to see you more, like more after this. Like, whoa, hold on. My name's not Samantha. He's like, wait, what's your name? Like, it's Nomi. And he's like, I thought you were Samantha. Like, there's a girl I met. She looks like you. She told me her name was Samantha. It's like, I'm sorry. She might have given you a fake name, or maybe her name really is Samantha and she's around here, but that's not me. But I'll help pay for the drinks. He's like, no, like those are that's okay. Like, I paid for them. I was like, all right, so yeah, got free drinks of Samantha.
Thanks, Samantha.
Yeah, whoever you are. She must be a good looking girl too, if she looks like me.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it didn't confuse you for like I don't know, somebody named Oliver.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been worse.
Yeah, and I see Clue's a comment that says Carnival is a hood boat, and yeah, he's right. Yeah,
It
Carnival
is
is
a
pretty
hood boat.
hood. Carnival is pretty hood.
Hey, actually, speaking of Clue, we're probably winding down, so we're gonna do this quiz first. But
Yeah.
if dude, if you're at your computer and whatnot, I'll throw you a link if you want to join us up here for it. Let me know in the chat if you would like to jump up here for the quiz, and I'll send it to you on Twitter. If that's something that you'd like to do, I guess.
Yeah, Clue, if you'd like to do it. Only if you'd like it.
Clue
Way to
can
make
hang
it
out with
gay,
us.
Larry.
Just saying, we're trying to get a clue.
Aside from the horrific shit that I did to Shadow at the top of the show, we've managed to stay away
You
from
didn't
most
do
of the-
that.
I didn't have to show it either.
No, but the demon memer did that. I mean that, and I'm sorry, but that was too good not to show.
That is very true. Yes.
It is. I did tell the kid I wasn't going to show it a lot, but and that I wouldn't show it again on this show. But it's
Who
this
started the
specific
whole thing
episode,
with him
by the
and
way.
the cactuses?
That was me. I said something I think it was on Ryan's show actually about him getting fucked sideways with a cactus, and she ran with it. So it just is what it is. Cool. I'll just throw you the link if you want to join us. Feel free to jump up here on the panel. Check your Twitter DMs. That's where it's at, and all that. But yeah, that was. I didn't expect you guys to lose your shit like that, though. Just like cackling.
That was hilarious, though.
It was pretty good. It was pretty funny. I do apologize to the kid a little bit because it is kind of my fault that meme exists in the first place, and also I did not have to show it. She sent me some other stuff too that you guys have never seen and never will.
I'm sure she did. No telling what it is.
But she's done a few for Kat too that I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to put this up on screen in case her brother sees it or something. So
well, it doesn't look like he's coming, so I'm ready to start this, and because I do have to get up early in the morning.
Yep.
I'm going to go see what's the name of that movie?
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Go see Oppenheimer tomorrow.
I'll make sure you pee first. I hear it's really long.
3 hours. 3 hours. Nomi, you went and saw it, didn't you?
I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet.
Nomi Heimer. Are you gonna go see the new Mission Impossible?
Yeah, I want to go see it for sure.
I'm going Sunday.
Oh, okay. I kind of have a booked weekend, so I'll have to find time to watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I'm finally going to get around this weekend to watching Dead Man's Hand.
Ooh.
So it's available wherever you can stream at. And I think it actually is supposed to be released on like Blu-ray in a couple of weeks too.
Yeah, and that's on my movie watch list as well.
Yeah. No.
All right. Let's get it on. You guys ready?
Yep. No worries, man. Yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah. All right. While no one participated in the making of this movie was killed, an avid fan was. Its amazing special effects and action caused a 42-year-old man to have a severe stroke and was unconscious by the time he reached the emergency room. The man died 11 days later, but not from his history of high blood pressure, but from overexcitement caused by the film, according to the doctor.
That sounds like Spin.
Transformers, Triple X, Avatar, or Avengers Endgame.
I think it's Transformers.
Yeah, that sounds like something Michael Bay would say.
Yeah.
Transformers.
Yeah.
It was Avatar.
Oh, dang it.
What happened when a man visiting friends sat on a seat that was secretly loaded with an exploding airbag? He flew up and went through the floor head first. The man flew sideways and through the window. Nothing happened. The airbag was a dud, or the man flew forward like a torpedo into his friend's crotch.
Second one,
The
sideways
first
through the
one.
window.
First one for me.
Okay, so we've got a tie. Uh,
I don't know if we have enough people in chat watching to.
you know, that's
It's a
okay. It's
very
just
good
us.
tie
It's
right now.
okay.
Everybody went to bed. We've been doing this for two and a half hours.
They'll get up in the morning.
Oh,
Oh,
Beak's
Beak
here.
says one.
Okay. So he's voting with me.
So one. All right, let's check. Correct.
Haha.
The filming of this helicopter scene resulted in the real deaths of 3 actors, 2 of them children. A helicopter was supposed to fly at an altitude of 25 meters. Unfortunately, the helicopter was so close to the ground that it couldn't avoid the effects of the pyrotechnics used, resulting in the fatal crash. Twilight Zone, the movie, The Helicopter Spies, Blue Thunder, or Black Hawk Down.
I'm gonna
Beaky
go
says one.
Beak on this. I don't remember that happening in Twilight Zone, the movie, but sure.
I
We'll go
would
with that.
I wouldn't know, but maybe I could, the only movie that I know of is Black Hawk Down, but I think I'll throw this away. I'll put Blue Thunder.
Okay. So everybody saying so the majority says Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
and they're correct.
Okay.
Good call, Beak.
An actor and a singer arrived at a club with their own entourages, but not together. After the singer was overheard was overheard talking trash about the actor's wife, the angry actor waited a few minutes before running over to the singer, jumping over a sofa, and landing on the singer with a series of punches. Among the spectators applauding the attack was Leonardo DiCaprio and Lindsay Lohan, who yelled, "What a show!" Tyrese and Joe, Ian Somerhalder from The Vampire Diaries, and Harry Connick Jr., Orlando Bloom and Justin Bieber, or Ice-T and Justin Timberlake.
I want to say Orlando Bloom and Justin Bieber.
Naomi.
It's the Ian Smollerhalder, Somerhalder, and Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, Harry Connick Jr. has been known to have a mouth on him too. I still want it to be Bieber.
And
Come on,
let's
Beak.
see.
Oh, 3.
Beak
Who's
says he'll
going?
go with 3.
Oh man.
Okay. And correct.
Oh.
A 33-year-old man was given 35 years in prison for first-degree manslaughter. The cause, a prank gone wrong. What did he do? The man wedged his 58-year-old stepfather so hard that the elastic band on his drawers snapped and wrapped around the stepfather's neck, choking him to death. The prankster claimed self-defense by accusing the stepfather of insulting his mother. Police didn't buy it. True or false, the man got 30 years.
False. The man got 30 years.
Yeah, false.
Okay. Eat. A skeleton prop used in Detention of the Dead was sold to a shop owner who promptly put it on display in her shop window. After someone filed a police report about the skeleton looking too convincing, authorities retrieved the prop for an autopsy, which proved it was the skeleton of a 35-year-old woman that died 100 years prior. The prop collector that owned it previously had no idea the skeleton was real. True or false?
True.
True.
True. Years ago, this actor got dragged out of a bar after attempting to fight the band's bass player for trying to take a photo of him. Although he wasn't punched, the headlock he was put in before being tossed was embarrassing enough. Charlie Sheen, Vince Vaughn, Josh Brolin, or Robert Downey Jr.
Vince Vaughn, because I can see Vince Vaughn being a little bitch.
I'm going to lean with Tiger Blood.
Tiger Blood. Beaky saying T.
That was for the last question, yeah.
That was for the last question.
Okay, Because as tough as he likes to come off, Charlie Sheen's a bit of a bitch too.
You are right.
Big for the question mark.
No guess.
No guess. Okay. That goes back to you two.
Yeah, it's like the guy was high and his brain was riddled with like syphilis and AIDS. So I would go with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, I'll go with Charlie Sheen.
Okay, no. Correct.
Oh wow, look at that.
A UFO landing prank in a Jordanian newspaper worked too well. The mayor scrambled security forces and searched the town for hostile aliens and evacuated, supposed to save the town's 13,000 residents before the paper admitted it was a joke. When they were threatened with a lawsuit by the mayor, the newspaper justified the prank by highlighting that the children got a day off from school. True or false?
True?
Yeah, it's probably true. There's a lot
Yeah.
of details there.
True.
Yeah.
These two actors got into a real fight during a scene for a movie, resulting in one of them getting knocked out. Afterwards, both actors called for backup and caused a standoff until another older actor called them together and diffused the situation by shaming them both for acting like children. Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, Fight Club, Heath Ledger, Christian Bale, Darth Knight, Jamie Foxx, LL Cool J, Any Given Sunday, or Frank Grillo and Chris Evans, Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Jimmy
Edward
Fox and
Norton.
LL Cool J.
No, what you
Okay,
said?
I was gonna put Fight Club.
Because the older actor in question would have been Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday.
Oh,
You know me.
fine. I'll go with Any Given Sunday.
Correct. But the older actor that solved it was Jim Brown.
Fair
It was
enough.
Jim Brown that solved it.
I forgot he was in that. I have to watch that again. It was a
Yeah.
good movie.
Yeah, it started because they were in a huddle arguing, and LL kept hitting Jamie Foxx in the head. He got wrapped up in the scene. He kept hitting him in the helmet. He was ringing his ears, and Jamie got tired of it and then socked him while they were filming. And then they all stopped it. They were like, "Oh no," because they figured LL, as big as he is, that he was gonna kill him, right? And he said, "No, no, everything is fine." They started rolling again, and then he just grabbed Jamie's helmet and lifted it up and just uppercutted him and knocked him out cold. So that's how that happened. Anyway, some high school girls were arrested for pulling a school prank. They poured oil all over the floors and common areas, zip tied some lockers, and tried to tie up the doors. While they managed to set up the pranks and make it off the property, the girls were seen on camera in the morning by security after administrators came in and slipped on the floors. The girls were quickly identified and expelled. False, they were caught by police and arrested for burglary of a commercial building. True, false, security arrived first and checked the cameras after slipping on the floors. False, none of this happened.
False, none of this happened.
I want to put false. Security arrived first and checked the cameras.
Beaky says 4.
Well, it's the popular vote because both Sam and Beak voted on 4, so you have to go with 4.
No, they were caught and arrested by police.
Well, we were all wrong.
The Godfather actor James Caan, Sonny Corleone, and Gianni Russo Carlo hated each other for real, and James made sure the cast and crew knew it on camera during the scene where Sonny attacks Carlo for beating up his sister. James threw a stick at Gianni and hit him in the head for real, threw some real punches, and once James got Gianni on the ground, he kicked Gianni in the ribs as hard as he could. After the scene was cut, James spit on Gianni. True, false, or just partly true? False. James didn't spit on Gianni, but everything else is reportedly true. False. The attack was not real, just great acting. In fact, both actors became good friends on set. Partly true. James and Gianni hated each other, but the attack in the scene was fake. Or everything is true.
Everything is true.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Well, everything is true. That what you're
Everything.
saying?
Yeah, I'm just guessing. I don't know.
False. James, he didn't spit on him, but
Okay.
everything else was real. What happened after two young jokesters decided to wrap a stop sign with plastic and petroleum jelly? Angry citizens caught the pranksters and beat the hell out of them. Two old ladies collided and died. Both idiots were charged with reckless homicide. They were hit by a speeding car while leaving the scene. The police caught and arrested the dummies for criminal mischief.
It kind of seems like a karmic situation. So
Mhm.
I wanna say they were hit by a speeding car while leaving the scene.
Yeah, same thing.
All right.
But
Well, since you guys are together, I mean, does really get up. No, two old ladies collided and
oh,
died.
so Beak was right.
Yep.
Yeah. Real punches were thrown in this movie on purpose to add realism. The realism resulted in one of the actors getting hit in the chest so hard that he had difficulty breathing and was rushed to the hospital. The actor was diagnosed with a swollen heart and was in the hospital for 8 days. Who went to the hospital and in what movie? Jake Gyllenhaal, Southpaw, John Voight, The Champ, Michael B. Jordan, Creed 2, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky 4.
I think it was Michael B. Jordan.
Is that because I didn't see Creed 2? I don't know anything about that, and I
Or
don't think
it could have been Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't
Creed
see.
2 is where he fights Ivan Drago's son, and the boxer that played his son is a real professional boxer.
Right, but like as far as the Rocky movies, I stopped paying attention after Rocky Balboa. So, and I haven't seen the other three. Rocky 4 is the only one on here that I know anything about. But
Mhm.
so we'll go with what Nomi's saying. She probably knows more about that than I do.
So Naomi, what are you saying, Creed?
No, I'm gonna go with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal? You
Yeah.
still going with that, Samuel?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah.
It was Sylvester Stallone.
Oh.
Rocky 4, and
One said
one got it.
Stallone.
One, hey, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a
Yeah.
while, and
Yeah.
good job.
Well, you were close with Michael B. Jordan though, because he in the first one, the cast and crew actually talked him into taking a real punch, and he got knocked out on the spot.
Yeah, I remember that. That's why I was like, I think it was Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, and then the Rocky films, people don't know that in all of the Rocky films, him and whoever else he was fighting, they were all hitting each other for real. And in each movie, at least one of the main actors got knocked out. So him and Dolph Lundgren in Rocky 4, they were hitting each other for real.
Cool.
So, some fictional characters in Jaws weren't the only ones to meet their maker. The wife of a 45-year-old man suffered a heart attack 45 minutes into the film and died on the way to the hospital despite two doctors performing CPR on her in the theater for 10 minutes before the ambulance arrived. False or true?
I've heard that story. I don't know if it's been corroborated.
I'm gonna say true.
Yeah, we'll go with that, but with the caveat that I could be wrong.
One, we are finishing our show. She said, "Why?" One said, "Why are we still awake?"
Yeah, we've been at this for like almost 3 hours now. So
True. This actor famously got the hell beat out of him in a club by a bodyguard he was talking trash about. The bodyguard hit the actor so hard that he flew out of his seat backwards and landed in someone's lap. The beating didn't stop there, though. He was hit with a flurry of strikes, and then what was left of him was thrown out of the club. The bodyguard left before the police arrived. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Charlie Sheen, Johnny Knoxville, or Andy the Dick?
Andy Dick.
Andy Dick.
This sounds like an Andy Dick thing.
it does.
Yeah.
It does sound like an Andy Dick thing.
And he has done stuff like that. So,
Mhm. Yeah, we'll go. Beak says, "I hope it was Andy Dick." Yeah. I'll vote Andy Dick.
Andy Dick, Larry.
I hate Andy Dick. All right, let's try it. No, it was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh dang!
Yeah.
That's a shame. Should have been
Yeah.
Andy Dick.
I know.
Recently, a woman parked her car sideways on a major freeway, got out of the car, stripped all her clothes off, and threatened oncoming vehicles with a knife. When that failed to scare drivers, the naked woman reached into her car, pulled out a gun, and fired at drivers until she was subdued by police. True or false?
True, because that was like 2 days ago, and a lady in San Francisco that did that.
I hadn't heard about it, but sure. We'll go
Yeah.
true.
Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
That was just like a few days ago
Yeah.
that happened.
Faces of Death is a notorious movie even by today's standards. It has no plot and features nothing but a series of gruesome deaths. However, despite the amount of disgust and disdain for the film by the general public, Faces of Death still made how much money at the box office due to its cult following? 35 million, 750K, 9 million, or 42 million?
42 million. People are fucked up.
Yeah, we'll go with 42 million. But caveat about Faces of Death: not quite a few of the things in there. There was some real stuff in it, but a lot of it was faked.
Yeah. 35 million.
Still,
Still a lot.
At around 3:30 p.m., 40 alcoholics engaged in a brawl at a water park in California. A 35-year-old man bravely tried to stop the fight, but was jumped by 3 participants. No arrests were made, even though all participants were identified and photographed. What caused the fight? 2 women fighting over a beach towel. An employee requested the tip he was owed from the drunk patrons he served. A drunk man saw his wife, who was supposed to be out of town working with another man, or someone knocked over a tray of beers and cursed at the
Some
people
tiny
who
bears.
bought the drinks.
I've been in a few bar type fights myself. Probably knocked over the tray of bears.
Mm.
Tray of
Yeah,
bears.
it's the tray of bears for sure.
Alrighty, let's see. Tray of bears. Nope, it was the beach towel.
Oh my
That's even
gosh.
dumber.
A group of teens thought it would be a good idea to egg cars late at night. Unfortunately for them, they hit the wrong car. As the driver sped towards them, a passenger pulled out a gun and fired multiple shots at the teens, killing one of them. True or false?
True. That sounds like a typical night in El Paso.
Sam.
Yeah, I'll go with true.
All right. True. In Top Gun, Maverick and Goose went into a death spin after flying through Iceman's jet wash. The stunt pilot went into the spin on purpose, but couldn't recover, causing the F-14 to slam into the sea. False. Some scenes were real, others were cinematic. This one was cinematic. True. Neither the stunt pilot nor the plane were ever found. False. The stunt was performed for real, but no one died. True. The plane crashed, but the stunt pilot ejected in time, like the scene.
I'm gonna go with 3.
I'm gonna go with 4.
Ooh.
Oh, we need a tiebreaker.
1.
Beaky.
1 or
One.
Beak? What say you guys?
First of all, I agree. 6-pack of bears is frightening.
Yes.
Beaky
Pete
says 3. That's it, you guys.
No, one says
One
4.
says 4. Shit. We're still tied.
Hell's
Damn
yeah, 4.
You guys
Oh.
got like 50 seconds.
Yeah, I know, and I still think I'm right.
If only we could do paper, rock, scissors, Sam. God dang it.
I'll tell you what, it's yours. So you said 3, right? It's your show.
I did.
Wrong.
Fuck, we were all wrong.
That was the last one.
Good job. We had 39 seconds to spare.
55% did better than the last one.
We did.
Yeah.
So-
Yep. So this was good. This has been a fun show, fun time. Where the hell have you been? We haven't seen you in weeks. It's good to see you.
That is true. 1.
So, but anyway, we have probably come to the end of our time here because Abyssal Musings. We typically don't go this long, and we're at 2 hours and 48 minutes right now.
We've gone longer, but normally we've had like a lot more people on the panel.
Yeah. We got I lurk. Yeah, me too sometimes. I listen to a lot of shows like this while I'm at work, and I just like put on some headphones and I stick the phone in my back pocket and I just listen. So I mean, I get it.
I mean,
As a matter of fact, I know some
the
people
show
who do that with this show.
the shows where we do the quizzes, they tend to be the longest anyway, because you do 2 quizzes. I mean, that's almost an hour right there. If you go to
Yeah.
full 20-25 minutes, that's still just short of an hour by itself.
Yeah, that's certainly true. But this has been pretty good. We talked a lot about sharks tonight. I enjoyed the shit out of that.
Yeah, sharks
know.
were interesting and scary.
Yeah. And you know, we touched on some other stuff. We humiliated Shadow right out of the gate, so we got that taken care of. Probably going to do it again tomorrow. He ain't going to like that, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. And then I'll hold off on that for a while till he's not expecting it, and probably pull it out again like 6 months down the road. Because I'm a dick and he's my buddy. But yeah, this was good. I think we had pretty good conversations, pretty good show all around, and all that. So why don't we tell the good people where they can find us and when? Nomi?
You can find me on YouTube and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Know Me Without You. Mondays, you can catch me on a Game of Thrones stream with Ryan Legion. Fridays, you'll always catch me here on Abyssal Musings, Sam and Larry. And yeah, just catch me around. You might see some videos or you may not. Not sure. Can't tell you what's going to happen. I'm just really spontaneous.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Larry, what you got coming?
As for me, you guys can catch me tomorrow, possibly on Screaming Into the Void. If not, you could definitely catch me in the chat on Lioness Exile's channel. So I will be in the chat performing my duties as a wrench holder and other types of support. And of course, you guys can catch me right here in a week with my co-host Samuel the Infamous and Know Me Without You, right here on Abyssal Musings.
Absolutely. And as you all know, my name is Samuel the Infamous. Obviously, every Friday we do this show. Sometimes we go a little long. This was good, though. Tomorrow you can catch me on Screaming Into the Void, which should be interesting. We're going to get into some aliens-related topics and all the shenanigans that are going along with that. And then Sundays, you can catch myself and a host of other nerds who like to throw gay jokes at each other like it's going out of style on Star Trek Engage, where we're starting the original series this week, starting with the pilot, The Cage. So that should be good. I might pop up here and there on some other channels, including Linus Exiled and the Renaissance Nerds channel. Just earlier, Nomi and myself were both on Legion Talk earlier tonight. So yeah, you never know where we might pop up and all that stuff. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Beak, appreciate you guys sticking it out with us to the end. I know one came in a little late, but it's always awesome to see you. And Beak, you know you're a badass, dude. Always glad to have you. Everybody else out there, thank you for sticking with us as long as you did. We appreciate each and every one of you. And remember, YouTube, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Good night, everybody.
What is it you pray